Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the NLG show. Another great Sunday night. And look, we've got a packed house this evening. So, Nick, how did I get your window wrong? You're only 90% there. What happened? And we can't hear you on top of that now.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Hey, we always start out with something. So I'm tweeting out that we're getting started. I want to welcome everybody. Thanks for being with us tonight. Last week, of course, was Mother's Day, so we really didn't have a show. And I'll let you guys know just for planning. I'm going to be in Ocean City for Father's Day, so I won't be bringing my PC with me. Unfortunately, we may have to take Father's Day off, guys.
I think we'll be all right.
I think so too. I'm going to reset the chat channel real quick because the chat screen's a little off. So if you guys want to keep using the chat real quick, and we'll see if we can fix that. It looks like possibly an XSplit glitch. All right, so want to welcome everybody in, and want to welcome in our two special guests. And Nick, while we're talking, I'm gonna redo your window just because I don't like it. I don't like it. So I'm going to introduce Sam first. So we have a couple of special guests with us tonight, both of which are with Tick Network, the Inner Circle. But first up, and somebody who I have really grown to love his work and the stuff that he's doing on the Tick website, is Mr. Sam Tolbert, editor of Tick Network. What's up, man?
Hey, not much. I'm glad we can finally do this.
Yes.
I know it's been in the works for a little while now. We've been thinking and playing on it for a while, but hey, I'd say it's a good time. I'm glad it happened now.
Yes,
and,
we are.
A lot of good stuff to talk about.
Especially 2 weeks before E3 shows up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're 2 weeks out, aren't we, boys?
Yeah.
3, 2?
Last time I checked, today is the 20th.
Yep.
And E3 begins on July 11th, technically, with the conferences.
Oh, that's right.
Well,
so we're 3 weeks away.
Yeah, if we count EA Play, it's the 10th, but who's counting, right?
Right, so we got the 27th, the 3rd, and then the 11th. So, yeah, so good. This is our run-up, too. So, Sam, tell us, about all the stuff that you do for Tick.
Okay, what do I not do? So, obviously, my main role is an editor, so I'm busy coordinating with the team on the news for the day. Company X announced this, or Bethesda's, doing this, dropping Rage 2 on us, so let's get a trailer up. Can anyone get that? I help clean up grammar. I help people learn from, just simple mistakes that lots of people tend to make in writing things, make it flow better, search engine optimization for better Google results, all that sort of thing. But I also do quite a bit of the writing myself, and when I can, I squeeze in occasional game reviews and impressions, like State of Decay 2 was the most recent one. So,
which we want to talk about tonight a little bit, since we have you, of course. And,
bit of an interesting topic as of late.
Yeah, very much so. So, and of course, you make your rounds on various podcasts here and there. So, So which ones are you regulars on?
Regulars? Well, I'm a regular actually with our other special guest here, Nick, on Gaming Perspective, which goes live every Saturday, in theory at 8 p.m. In reality, more like 8:30 or so in practice. But that's perfectly fine, right? It's always a good time. We also have Mr. Eric Jackson on there, and Rage Virus, also known as Jared. He's on there as well. We have a good time talking about games, analyzing things, giving our ideas, just good general talk. I'm also a permanent member of the Multiverse Show on Mondays at 8 p.m., which does always go live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And always ends at 9 p.m. No matter what.
You guys are killing me right now. You're killing me.
Every time. And then, don't worry, because I'm also a correspondent for Tick Podcast, which is a fancy way of saying I come in most of the time, 90% of the time on Tick with B-Money, Cow, and Anchor. And we go live, in theory, at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anyone who follows Cow knows it fluctuates. But, again, that's always great Xbox talk. Best Xbox podcast out there.
Well, on Tick side, of course. You know.
Yeah, that we do.
Well, it is awesome to have you, Sam. This has been a long time coming, and I'm very, very, very happy that you're finally here. You know, I am a great fan of your work, and you know, you've you remind me a lot of how, you know, gaming journalism is supposed to be, how it used to be back in the days. So, you know, just keep doing that, because it warms my heart. I start to live vicariously through you.
Well, I
kind of
appreciate
refreshing nowadays.
It really is.
Thank you.
And we use
I
a
mean,
lot.
I do my best. I'm honest. I mean, I've been guided. I've been taught by a lot of different people. But at the end of the day, what I do is simply, hey, this is out there. Either this is fact or it's opinion, but file it as such and move on. I don't. Seems simple to me.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Let people decide how they feel about the news instead of telling them how to think. So that's how I always did it. So I love that stuff. So yeah, it didn't take Annihilator long to jump in. Look, we even started on time so he could be here. So all right, so our other guest, the man from the up north cold area. The gaming Canuck, or whatever. What the hell does Anchorman call you anyway? He's got some name for you.
Oh, the true king of the north.
True King of the North. That is it. He
And
is,
terrorizer of the gamer score leaderboard.
yes, Mr. Nicholas Downey, another gentleman who it has been a long time getting on here, and becoming one of my more favorite podcasts. Amongst all of the other awesome Inner Circle podcasts, the Gaming Perspective. What's up, Nick?
Oh, just hanging out, man. Just glad to have a long weekend off work and actually join you guys for a full episode this time around.
Yes.
So it's going to be a good time.
Yes. Yes. So this is, that's right, because this is the second time, right?
Yep.
So,
This will be the first full episode, though, where I'm not dipping
episode.
halfway through.
So that's all right. You know what? Now that I remember that, we covered that pretty well. So
Yeah.
it wasn't too bad. But no, it's great to have you back. And for those who don't know you, give us a little of the Tick background on for the King of the North.
Well, anyone who follows me on Twitter knows me as Undead3XVI. I recently switched over. You can just call me Nick, whatever you want to call me. Just don't call me late for dinner, basically. I write for the Inner Circle. Sam makes all my pieces look a lot better than they do when they first get submitted, so that's a great thing. I do a lot of writing. I cover news. I do some reviews when I have the time. I do the Gaming Perspective podcast on Saturday, which I'm constantly moving forward with and trying to improve under the Tick affiliate banner. And yeah, I'm looking forward to, with this upcoming E3, to definitely be kicking myself into full gear on the Inner Circle website and really bringing the news and just keeping it straightforward and to the point without any spins, so to speak, on it.
Cool. That's what we like.
Well, you won't have me for near 2 weeks, so.
I know.
Someone will have to keep him in check.
Someone's going to have to know. The worst thing that I do constantly, there's two things that I do that I know that bugs Sam endlessly while editing my work. I double space after sentences, and I do not italicize game names.
Ah, right.
Who's counting?
The double spaces are starting to bug me now. I don't know why in Canada they taught us that double spacing in the front of paragraphs and sentences was an okay thing, but it's not.
Double spacing in front of sentences?
Yeah, double spacing sentences.
Huh.
Like
That's
period, space,
Know
space?
what I mean.
Period,
Yep.
space.
Now, yeah, but you know what? I do that. I think about it. I do single space. I do single space commas, double space. I was taught double space after periods. Now we're getting into school.
Yeah,
So
that's
we've
not good.
already gone off the rails. This is
I'm like the
officially
least
an NLG
educated
show.
person here, so let's not do this.
Yeah. So, All right. So welcome in, boys, and of course, my other able-bodied crew members. It's like we're on the ship. It's like we're on the galleon, boys.
Right.
So
Brace me too.
yeah, Peter, what's up, man?
Count on me to run it aground.
Oh man, yeah. It was a busy Sunday. Got a little bit of gaming in right before the show, but yeah,
Cool. And
good to be here again.
and of course, America. You know, behind you, the American flag stuffed to your teepee.
Yeah, found a flag and I thought I'll plant it.
Excellent. Juan, how you doing, man?
Good. I'm on a little first couple days of a couple extra days off here. Got some good gaming in tomorrow. Got to get busy on the stuff I've been procrastinating on. So, but yeah, no, a lot of gaming the last 48 hours there.
Nice. And still sporting the Kingdom Come hat.
Yep,
Which
restarted
reminds
that.
me- I'm gonna have to do it when.
I hope Rick is listening because I'm,
So I shouldn't say. I did get a shirt.
Nice.
He did finally send me a shirt, and it is a nice shirt. I meant to wear it, and then I've been so down and out this week with a cold that I totally forgot. So
That'll do it.
When Rick comes on next, I will wear it. So Nathan, you can use sign language tonight. Your microphone isn't working. Ah. Oh man, you poor guy. All right, so 1 for yes, 2 for no. Baseball signs for you poor guy.
Do a Sea of Thieves little dance and a jig if you want to give us your opinion on something.
There you go.
yeah.
There you go. How Sea of Thieves. All right. Well,
We had a pretty good time in that the other night.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm looking forward to getting back into that when the Hungering Deep drops.
Soon.
yeah, and so that
Yeah.
actually I have the trailer for the Hungering Deep because that was Nate's that was his game of the week. So I was all set to give him a little bit of that nice Hungering Deep. Damn. So don't worry about it. Go ahead and restart your machine. We'll do it this way. Look, I've gotten to become a master of the window. So if it doesn't come back up, we'll edit you out. Don't worry. It's all good, Nate. So all right. So a couple of things to go over, and I want to get Nate. Hopefully, we get his mic working because this is something that. Excuse me. This is something that him and Peter kind of near and dear to them, and all of a sudden, not exactly enamored with, but we finally got the Call of Duty Battlefield, Call of Duty Let's try this one more time. The Call of Duty Black Ops 4 reveal, and needless to say, not exactly the reveal that people were hoping, maybe, because what we got was. I thought of it. I mean, I looked at it and said, "Wow!" So Call of Duty is just basically going to be Overwatch.
Yeah.
So we've turned.
I gotta be honest. I didn't see a ton of it. I didn't have a lot of interest. But from what I understand, the dudes over at Battlefield are throwing parties.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to put it for sure, right? Because, I mean, look, the rumors were basically true. No
Right.
campaign. Not really. They've got these things that are like operator missions, which are supposed to give backstory on the different characters in multiplayer, but it's not a campaign by any stretch of the imagination.
it's a
Then you got to
right. It's like
revamp zombies and multiplayer on top of that. But
right. It's like the original Titanfall. It was what I thought of a little bit. Where
Yeah,
I don't
I
think that
suppose
it's not in the middle of the multiplayer though, is it? Those are separate standalone things.
Right, they're
Operative.
separate things. Yeah, it's like 1 or 2 missions per each operative. They haven't really explained. It was kind of a throwaway sentence, being honest. But and then obviously Blackout, the big battle royale, which is
Battle Royale. Everybody's doing
I can't wait to play Battle Royale on peer-to-peer servers. It's going to be great.
it. Well,
they've got to go dedicated, right?
well-
They've got to, right?
so that was one of the other big pieces of news that was very. And I guess it took me more by surprise than anybody else, is that the game is going to be on BattleNet rather than outright Steam.
That's a good thing.
Well, but
Depends on who you ask.
right. I mean, there's a lot of people that kind of gave the what? What do you mean it's not coming on Steam? Steam is
Personally, I'm cool with it not being on Steam because I think Steam has a little too much sway, a little too much of the market. So I'm cool with it. But you'll have people that just say, "Oh, no Steam, no buy."
Yeah, but if we're being perfectly honest here, Call of Duty's always primarily been a console seller anyway. I mean, it does respectable numbers on PC, but not anything close to the console sales.
Right.
no, but-
Unifying it with the other Battle.net games, like the Destiny 2 audience, the Overwatch crowd, the World of Warcraft crowd, all of that. If you unify them, you have, even cross-game features that they talked about, like, detecting cheats or things like that easier, or would be easier now, things like that. That can be appealing.
Yeah, I can see that.
No, and I agree with that. It's like, look, we know that the next Battlefield game is going to be on Origin and not Steam, but this is the Destiny 2 is not Call of Duty. It's not the staple that Call of Duty has been for decades now. And just to see, it just to go to a curated, to a different curated place for PC is just very, it's very different. I'm just surprised.
Yeah, it is. It is different, but I'll be honest, it's not. I'm surprised, but I'm not shocked after Destiny 2 made the switch over. Or not the switch, because the first one wasn't on PC, but you get what I'm saying.
Right. No, I got you. So just very interesting to me that's where they're headed. Also, very much so that they're joining forces with Blizzard for BattleNet.
I think going forward, anything that Activision touches on the PC market will be going through BattleNet personally.
Think?
It just makes sense. It's the same thing with EA, with Origins, and Ubisoft with...
Uplay.
Yeah.
Uplay.
Yeah.
Or Microsoft in the Windows Store.
Yeah.
No.
It's just kind of one of those things that each of these companies kind of want to have their own games in their own ecosystem and have complete control over what they do with them. It makes sense, and personally, after going on Steam for the first time in like 4 years, maybe a little bit of competition would be good for them.
It would.
Yeah. Funny that they did not pick the Microsoft Store, the Windows Store.
Okay, I don't even want to talk. I spent 15 minutes to figure out where Age of Empires Definitive Edition was, and then the Windows Store crashed 3 times in the process of me trying to get it. I'm like, I just want Age of Empires.
Yep.
Yeah, they need some work on that store. That is for sure.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? So I'm showing some of the trailers. Unfortunately, I'm showing them without audio just because I didn't want it to overshoot the audio with us. But some of the things that they're doing with like the Titanic zombies and things like that are kind of different.
Zombies actually does look appealing to me, but I'm one of those guys who actually was like super into zombies, like the whole Black Ops 2, Black Ops zombies. I loved it. World at War zombies back in the day, so that is appealing to me. But unfortunately, I'm one of those 4% that the reason I would buy a Call of Duty game was for the campaign primarily, and then everything else was secondary to that. So with this, maybe if Battle Royale and Zombies are really, really, really good, I might be able to be convinced to pick it up on sale, but certainly not at launch.
Yeah, and I haven't bought a Call of Duty in a while.
Blops.
Yeah, the original Blops.
Yep, that's my last one. It's weird that they're moving away from campaign, given that that's they've had decent success with the campaigns recently. The more recent campaigns I've heard good things about compared to.
Yeah, the last two were very good.
Right.
I was going to say, Infinite Warfare was actually not bad. I actually that was a really good campaign. Actually, I haven't bought World War II. I don't really plan on it, but Infinite Warfare, despite having probably one of the worst multiplayers that Call of Duty has ever had, it had one of the better campaigns in recent memory.
And
they've been on the upswing on the campaign, and then just to drop it,
Yeah.
They're just crunching the numbers and not looking at the nuance beyond that.
Well, see, we had the thing come out last week that only 4% of people finished the Black Ops 3 campaign out of the people that played the game. But the Black Ops 3 campaign was horrible. It was awful. I played like 2 hours of it, and I was like, why? Why am I doing
Settle
this?
down. I need you to imagine yourself in a frozen forest right now.
No.
Thoughts at the center of the mind. No.
But this, it's really funny because every time this gets back and starts to get back to the it's a word I'm looking for. I am nowhere near as smooth as Lord Cognito. The ever pushing argument of single player and multiplayer. Mm-hmm. These games are they're taking on. They've decided in place of a campaign, and don't mind what I'm doing down here, folks. We're a little off kilter without Nate. I'm sorry, Nate's stuff's not working because I know he was very passionate. Not only was he very passionate about how he felt about this, but he was keeping me up to date with some information that I'm going to share that he was tweeting me earlier about, why they weren't doing the campaign and things like that, and how they were already looking towards the future. Like this is like almost like this is they knew, like this wasn't Treyarch's necessary call to do this, and then all of a sudden they're already looking to the next game, which you never really see happen before, right after a reveal. So it's like they took out the campaign and they're deciding to play on the success of PUBG and Fortnite because everything now is Battle Royale.
Sounds about right.
Pretty much.
Well, the
third parties are Russian, and they're not going to be the only ones. I'm going to tell you right now, they are not going to be the only ones who are going to do it. You're going to see others do it too this year and probably next year as well.
Well, I think, Juan said it right at the beginning. The guys over at EA at DICE are probably partying because I don't think Battlefield's going to go Battle Royale and lose their campaign, especially if the rumors of what I heard are true, where the V stands for Vietnam.
Well, Battlefield's not going to lose its campaign. They'll celebrate over that, but who said anything about dropping the campaign to provide for multiplayer?
No, of course not.
Or to provide for Battle Royale.
I was going to say, DICE already said that they had plans for Battle Royale mode, but there was no plans of it being in the launch game. The supposed thing is that they're working on a Battle Royale mode that will be added at a later date. Right. But keep in mind, DICE was also the ones that during Battlefield 4 were also said they were working on a Dino survival mode, which would have been the best thing that ever happened to Battlefield. But that never happened.
Right. So, I I don't know. I where are you at with this, Peter? Because I know you are a big Call of Duty guy. You have.
Yeah, I mean, I've always gotten Call of Duties for the campaign. It's not till like I would say recently, which is like many moons ago still, but that I also started playing the multiplayer. But I was never big in multiplayer. I think with World War II is the first one where I really started playing the Call of Duty multiplayer a lot, especially with Nate, and I'm having a good time. But yeah, primarily, the campaign. So now that the campaign is gone, this will definitely not be a day one, and maybe if it's like dirt cheap, I'll pick it up. But if history tells us anything, the Call of Duty games, even when they're going still, they're still expensive.
Yeah,
it's like the older. I think I got Black Ops 1, and I played that for the campaign and played a little bit of multiplayer, but after that, I didn't get the other ones. Got back into Ghost just for the campaign, even though it wasn't that great, and then, got my hands on Infinite, what's the last one? Infinite
Warfare.
Infinite Warfare. And that campaign was very good, and I really enjoyed that one.
Do we have the return of Nathan?
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
We can.
Nathan
No,
is
we
back.
cannot.
Now I got to move everything back.
These are free from the Microsoft Store at a party. It works.
Hey,
I
man,
found them in
you
my drawer.
get whatever
Okay.
you can get. All right, let's get Nathan back in the mix here. That makes me happy. Good. So while I'm resetting you up here, I know you had some really strong opinions about what was going on here with Call of Duty. So while I'm getting you reset, lay it on us, brother.
I just think they went at it wrong. I think they should have came out, and we all know that Black Ops 3 campaign wasn't received well. It's kind of like you were on drugs or something, basically. And
We have to take
if they would have
drugs,
came
right?
out, and said, sorry, we have failed you guys this year. And they kind of did in the interview after. I don't know. They just released it. They said, this is not going to be the norm. We still want to do campaign. So I think they knew that they made a mistake, and they just didn't want it. It's going to suck. So let's do the Battle Royale thing. Everyone likes the Battle Royale thing. I would have probably bought it if it was $40, or they would have admitted the truth. I don't like, half-truths.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's going to be a bad game. It looks good. It's just, what's the story?
Right.
But to me, it doesn't look like a Call of Duty, though. It looks like you slap any name on it.
I don't
Well,
think
look
they
at the
should call it
trailer.
Black
Look
Ops
at this.
4.
It almost looks like Rise.
Yeah.
I mean, they're right. Where is the Call of Duty? This looks like a medieval game.
Or even Assassin's Creed, when you're in the Colosseum, being the gladiator.
I don't know.
Right. Where is it's very bizarre
It
what
should have been a standalone. I don't think it should have been a part of the Black Ops series.
A spin-off.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
like a spin-off title. Because when I think Black Ops, I don't know about you guys, I think really good campaigns. Well, the first two, anyway.
Yeah,
3 was
exactly.
not, but one was an incredible campaign.
it was.
Like it was fantastic. I know the numbers may seem, what do they mean? But memes aside, it was really good. It was a Cold War, Manchurian Candidate-esque thriller, and then Black Ops 2 was all cyber warfare. It was really good. I liked it. So,
Well, and what I liked about it was what was really cool about that one was it was one of the few games that I played with my 3D glasses because it had at least on the Xbox it had stereoscopic 3D. So I was like, it was like really immersive. And you're right. I mean, it was a little. It was a little long-winded as far as the story, the backstory, but action-wise, it was really good.
Yeah, and then as much as the Black Ops 3 campaign didn't go over well, it still had a 4-player co-op, which made it enjoyable.
So, considering that these rumors were true, right? Battle Royale coming, no campaign. How much do we want to bet that the rumors are true that Modern Warfare 2 Remastered is on the way this year to make up for it? Because it's like, hey, you want a campaign? Here you go.
I see it next
And
year.
bundle them together and sell them for $80.
Because there's also a rumor that Modern Warfare 4 is next year, so I could see him doing something with that.
Modern Warfare 2 remastered in the same year as Modern Warfare 4 makes absolutely no sense because you're splitting the Modern Warfare fan base.
Yeah,
Modern Warfare 2 remastered when in a year where there is no campaign, but Modern Warfare 2 was another classic Call of Duty campaign, great campaign, I loved it. That's
Make it
going to
happen.
appeal to the people who aren't getting a campaign this year, and it drums up the Modern Warfare hype for next year.
What if they do 2 this year and then do 3 as a bundle with Modern Warfare 4 next year?
I think doing a bundle period of the same game in the same series doesn't make any sense, but that's just me.
If it's campaign only, I could see it, but not both multiplayers.
No, I don't think. I think with the COD 4 remaster, they kind of knew that they weren't appealing to a huge part of their base. So when they released the COD 4 remaster with Infinite Warfare, they knew that if the people didn't like boots on the ground, they'd go play Infinite Warfare, and then the people that loved the boots on the ground gameplay would go play COD 4. And they were appealing to 2 different fan bases that they knew that if they did this double release, they would be able to keep both communities relatively happy without losing too much player base by splitting them. And they monetized both communities in typical Activision fashion. Whereas I think with Black Ops 4, with it necessary, it looks like there's going to be a little bit of a wall running and that kind of stuff, but still fairly boots on the ground, very similar to Black Ops 3. So I do agree if they do Modern Warfare 2 remastered with it, or even any of the other COD games remastered with it, it has to be campaign only because they'd be splitting their player base too much between the two. Because if they do Modern Warfare 2 remastered and they have the single player and the multiplayer, nobody's going to want to play Black Ops 4 because Modern Warfare 2 is like the pinnacle of multiplayer for that series. That's just my thoughts on it anyway.
Probably. Sounds about right.
If they bundled it, I would buy it then.
So Rob Kostich said to VentureBeat that the single player is within the multiplayer, and the whole idea is you're supposed to be able to. It'll teach you how to play the characters and understand their abilities and their backstory and so on. But it is going to be pretty much a branch of the multiplayer.
That's another way of saying there isn't a campaign.
Exactly. Yeah. You're not getting any story mode this year.
We threw some character bio fluff for characters that are as generic as theoretically possible into the multiplayer. That doesn't mean you wove the campaign in.
Exactly. And it's why sometimes when these guys say, "Well, we're still committed to story," no, you're not. I mean, what you saw was, and it's just if you're just.
I think they may have messed up, and that's all they had to say.
Well, I think it's going to depend. I mean, Sam and I were talking about this in the Discord earlier. This is a game that I am very interested in tracking MPD numbers for because I want to see. Obviously, this is going to be your esport multiplayer. You're going to get that. You're going to get that section of the gaming community. That's not going anywhere. But is that we're going to find out if that is the overwhelming majority of that player base.
I've actually split so far.
Here's the last thing I'll say about Call of Duty at the moment. People hated Infinite Warfare. If you remember, the trailer got bombed on YouTube. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yet, Infinite Warfare was still the top-selling game of 2016.
Exactly.
It still made. Now it dropped off faster. Make no mistake, it did drop off faster in the following months. It didn't keep on charting crazy, but it still sold gangbusters.
It was this. So, it kept to the formula of the top-selling game of that year and the 10th best-selling game of the following year.
Yep.
And that just seems to be how Call of Duty does it.
And according to the positives and negatives on the YouTube review, it's literally split right now. It's $299K to $173K.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and they're launching a month earlier. That's another.
Everyone's skipping November.
Everyone.
Well, they can because there's no campaign. So.
Yep.
Well, yeah, you're not going up against.
I think that is why it's going to be on sale on Black Friday, though, because it was been out more than a month.
What is going on in November? Because
something's coming.
Yeah,
something is because Red Dead got pushed. No, Red Dead got pushed out. Red Dead got pushed out, didn't it?
So is that the only reason they did that?
Red Dead was.
Red Dead is October 26th.
Yeah, or the 27th. I thought, but okay, whatever. The 26th, and 27th.
Right.
Yeah, the point is, that's late October, but that's still October. No,
exactly.
Everybody is staying out of November. Something big is coming.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
I know what it is. I know it. That's
another Bubsy remake.
Yes. You know what everybody is afraid of? I got it right here.
No.
Rage.
When the asteroid hit,
you watch. I know they said
billions were gone in the
2019,
blink of an eye.
but you watch what's going to happen. Pete's going to come out on stage. I'm going to specifically watch Anchorman's reaction, and he's going to say, "I know we said 2019, but we really meant November."
There was no one left alive.
Right publisher, wrong developer.
No, I know.
And in this wild, wide open place, if you wanted something bad enough,
that looks pretty amazing, though.
Yeah,
it looks fantastic.
Ride 3 is not going to control November. That's scaring everybody away.
Insanity rules.
That was.
I'm joking.
Honestly, I was gonna say everyone's so scared of November. That's why those Elder Scrolls 6 rumors are always flying around, because that's pretty much the only IP anyone can see that's scaring major releases out of November. Like, everyone's trying to avoid Red Dead and Call of Duty, and now they're saying that Battlefield 5 will probably land in November too. So I don't know what games is going to be going up against Battlefield in November. Might be interesting.
Some Ubisoft games.
Yeah,
Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
Splinter Cell.
I would love that. There you go.
Serious Sam.
Because the
Can't see that.
Ubisoft games are all before March. Through March. So I don't think it's going to be Destiny, since they just. Not Destiny. Division, since they just talked about a whole new year this year for the first one. So I'm guessing you guys are right.
So it's not Rage 2, but I thought
I would love for it to be
funny. I just wanted to bring up Rage 2 because once again another reveal before E3, but there's a whole other conversation. But
fantastic marketing.
Yeah, they did a great.
Yeah, thank you, Walmart.
No, seriously, the marketing guys at Bethesda there took what could have been a disaster of a leak and turned it into a fantastic build-up.
They did.
It worked really well. And the game looks incredible. It looks, as everybody under the sun has said at this point, it looks like Doom and Mad Max crossed together with a little Wolfenstein sprinkled in there.
Yeah,
throw some Borderlands in that too, I think.
Yeah, probably a little Borderlands. No, it looks amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait. Especially if it's like co-op type thing, or I just can't wait.
That would be great.
I'm not sure they'd have like dedicated multiplayer, but co-op, it seems built for it, right?
Yeah, it's
right.
Beautiful.
And I'm going to go ahead and go out on predictions, say that it's coming out in May, because Bethesda likes the May slot for games that have sort of been out of the limelight for a little while.
When did Prey come out?
Prey came out in May. Wolfenstein: The New Order came out in May. New Colossus graduated because the first game had come out, so then they put it out then. But the Doom 2016 came out in May as well. So what Bethesda likes to do there is they like to take a game that either it's a new IP like Prey, or the series has been gone for a long time, and they're like, okay, we'll just throw it into May. It can have this own little time slot to itself, and then if it graduates, does really well, like Wolfenstein, they'll bump it up. Doom is probably getting bumped up as well to a fall whenever it comes out.
Well, and of course it was revealed here in May, so a full year out.
That's what Bethesda likes to do. Year maximum usually.
Yep.
Yeah, Bethesda does not play around. I mean, Fallout 4, if anything, taught us that they don't stretch these out very much. And of course, we're going to know more in a few weeks because their showcase is it's after Microsoft's, so we'll know. Some other things. I mean, Borderlands 3. Speaking of Borderlands, I mean, it's coming. You just kind of waiting for it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird too with Gearbox coming out and saying that Borderlands 3 isn't going to be at E3. It's kind of weird that they're saying Borderlands 3 isn't going to be there. It seems like everybody's known about the game for so long, and Gearbox has confirmed that they are making it, but we literally have heard nothing about it, which is interesting. And it's interesting too because with Rage 2, with the style of game it is and everything else, that's kind of Borderlands like corner market that like Borderlands 2 kind of hit. So I'll be interested to see what kind of changes and things they can do with Borderlands 3 because I enjoyed Borderlands 1. It was a really unique game at the time. I enjoyed Borderlands 2. I played way too much of that with my friends. But the pre-sequel didn't click with me because it just felt like more of the same. So I'm wondering how many changes they're bringing to that title, and is that why it's taking them so long to show something?
Yeah, absolutely. And then you got the fact that a quote unnamed 2K title in a major franchise was delayed, which, I mean, come on, read Borderlands 3 was delayed, even though it hasn't been announced technically yet.
Right.
So the question is, how is Borderlands 3 going to do? Borderlands was a very unique thing at the time in that you didn't have many of these dedicated co-op console looter shooters. You got those now. By all accounts, Rage 2 looks like it's going to be dipping in on that market, so to speak. And then even Destiny kind of sticks its toe in the water there. You got other titles. I don't know. I don't think Borderlands isn't in a vacuum anymore.
Maybe that's why they're taking so long with it. Maybe they're trying to change it up while still keeping it Borderlands. Like that's definitely a challenge they're going to have to face. Like,
how do you do that?
Yeah,
put it in
that's
space?
why I'm not a games developer because I couldn't tell you how to change Borderlands without changing the fundamental.
When actually, you know what? They did put it in space. Remember, the pre-sequel had the planet you were on, so they kind of did that too. So what's left of Borderlands?
Borderlands
from the Borderlands Season 2. Jigs. Yep. Exactly. The sequel to the best Telltale game that we'll never get.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't get it.
Yeah, but that's still. I mean, I don't know. So, other thoughts on Rage 2?
Well, I just want to be the one who mentions Avalanche because one of the things that made me super happy when I saw that, because I saw the live action, and I've been saying for a while now that live action trailers, commercials, they can all just kind of go away. The last ones that, the last one I liked was the Halo Wars 2 ones because there was some humor to them.
Those were kind of cheap.
Those are kind of cute, but really, the live action thing, I'm just over it. So that I was really kind of meh about that. But then the trailer came, and I went from meh to I could do that. And about halfway through the trailer, like about halfway through, I was like, I'm probably gonna have to do that. And then it's Avalanche, and I had such a great time with Mad Max. I think Mad Max is one of the most underrated games of the gen, like totally under the radar for most. Incredible open world storytelling with the way that they handled kind of the lore pieces around and things like that. It didn't beat you over the head with it. It was so good. So I'm really happy to see that. I had been saying forever, where's my Mad Max X enhancement? Why have I not had my X enhancement for Mad Max yet? Because I would play through that again in a heartbeat, X enhanced. Now we know.
Yep. And hey, I mean, Avalanche Studios with id helping polish things up and tuning the gunplay on running on my Xbox One X, that sounds like a match made in heaven to me.
Sold.
That sounds fantastic.
Yep.
I cannot wait.
Where do I sign?
So that leaves. What does that leave? Evil Within 2? No, that's not happening. I don't think. I don't. Well, I mean, they could. I mean, it's certainly a valid announcement for E3, right?
Wait, did you say Evil
I'm
Within 2?
sorry, not Evil Within 2. The hell am I thinking of? Damn it! I just lost it. This cold is kicking my ass.
You'll have that.
Yeah. I was thinking they might announce a third. Sorry.
Ooh, early.
Why?
It's really early because they were still updating the game up a
Yeah.
couple of months ago because they added that first-person mode there.
I know, but just
Yep.
in time. Unless they start, you know what? Although I could see them thinking a big announcement would be some sort of, because I don't know if it has it, VR.
No, this is two things in my mind that Bethesda's holding on to because we haven't seen anything from Bethesda Softworks in a while. There's two things I'm thinking it is. They're either finally going to drop Starfield trailer and announcement date because everyone knows what that is, or it's going along with the Reddit and 4chan leaks that have been saying that Starfield is just code name for Elder Scrolls 6 and they're dropping that. I don't know which one.
I have doubt.
You can believe either one, but Starfield with no Mass Effect in play anymore, them dropping a huge open world style RPG game similar to Fallout in space, and if it's fully fleshed out as much as people say it is, if it's been in development as long as they say it has, that would be a bombshell. Because there's no other game that is doing what Mass Effect used to do anymore. There are some.
Yeah, that sort of sci-fi opera, so to speak.
Yeah,
Right.
So to speak. So like, if Bethesda walks in and drops Starfield and says it's coming in November, people have legacy with Bethesda. Like when you talk Bethesda Softworks games, you're talking Elder Scrolls and Fallout. People are going to eat that game up like it's candy. And if it in a weird, bizarre, strange world that somehow Bethesda's managed to keep Elder Scrolls 6 under wraps for God knows how long, and is actually close to being able to drop it, and they drop it in November, then that's why everything's moving out in November, because Elder Scrolls 6 would steamroll pretty much any game out there just on what 5 did last generation.
Yeah, no, I think that is. I kind of hope not. I'm kind of hoping for something past the Elder Scrolls, something different from them.
And I mean, Pete Hines has even said that while Elder Scrolls 6, and Todd Howard says, well, Elder Scrolls 6 will likely happen at some point, they don't see it happening this gen because of the advancements they want to make in tech for the kinds of crazy stuff they want to do. No, it's time for a new IP from them. It's time for something different. And yeah, I think Starfield could be it.
I mean, I know I'm not exactly in the majority in this, but I don't think Elder Scrolls has ever been better than Morrowind. It's still my favorite one. And while the other ones are great, I don't know that they've been going up. I couldn't even get through Skyrim.
Well, okay, they may have not been. Here's the thing: they certainly have commercially.
Sure.
In terms of critical and commercial appeal, they absolutely have.
Right.
So.
See, for me, Elder Scrolls series peaked at Oblivion, and while I did play a ton of Skyrim, I still enjoyed Oblivion a lot more. There's just certain things about Oblivion I liked a lot more than Skyrim. But at the end of the day, it's a huge open world Bethesda RPG, and I love it. But I'm in the same kind of boat. If it was Elder Scrolls 6, yeah, I'll be losing my mind over it. But at the same time, I'm still kind of hoping it's something different and new, because I'd love to see them branch out and strike something new. Because if there's anything that Bethesda does well, is striking out and doing something weird. Like, I based my whole when that Walmart leak came out, I said, this is fake. They're not making Rage 2. Who would make Rage 2?
They would.
They would. But with Starfield, okay, so let's say Starfield is announced and it's fall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that enough to throw everyone? Is that enough to scare Activision out of November?
From the makers of Skyrim and Fallout 4 is probably the strongest marketing I can think of out there.
But and I'm not saying that it worked, because obviously it didn't. But that Fallout 4's announcement didn't stop Square from rolling out Tomb Raider the same day. So I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm just is that a game that everyone is scared to launch next to?
Okay, so here you go. I googled it quick to give you an idea of what. Keep in mind, this is the Fallout IP. Activision, with its best Call of Duty, rolled out. It made $550 million in 72 hours. Huge numbers. Bethesda's Fallout 4 sold 12 million copies and generated over $750 million in its first 24 hours at retail. So,
yeah, it's hard to argue that.
Yeah,
And Fallout is weaker than Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge number, you guys. I
don't know about that. Fallout 3 and New Vegas were very hotly
commercial.
Very hot games.
Not after Skyrim. Skyrim's commercial appeal. Skyrim put Elder Scrolls on like almost a Minecraft level of popularity in terms of name brand recognition, and even people who have no idea what video games are or how they play are like, yeah, I've heard of something called Skyrim. It put it on the map in a very different way.
Yeah, I was in high school when Skyrim came out, and literally every person in my class, even the guys that only played Madden and Call of Duty, bought Skyrim.
Exactly.
And literally,
Skyrim has been ported to every damn thing that has ever existed.
You can play on your toaster.
That's true, and it's been remastered. I get that. I totally get that. I don't know.
Going to be a very interesting E3.
Yeah, well, for Bethesda anyway. So I mean, because I can't think of much left. I just don't know what else. I don't know what else gets everybody's hackles up. And maybe it's not Bethesda. Maybe it's not a game from Bethesda at all.
It has to be because Pete Hines said the whole reason they were doing an E3 conference was because Bethesda Softworks had something major to announce. They said he would not bother doing an E3 conference if they did not have a major announcement that could not be done on trailer releases or just small announcements. So it's something they put out Rage 2 just for the sake of it. So whatever it is bigger than Rage 2 reboot. So whatever Bethesda's saying on whether they end up just revealing ID Software's doing Doom 2 or something like that, it's going to be major because Bethesda just doesn't show up for the sake of showing up anymore. They generally come in to just drop bombs usually and then walk out and be like, our job here is done.
I don't know. Last year's conference was not the same as their first. I think a lot of people were not happy with their.
Last year they focused on Elder Scrolls Online, didn't they?
Yeah, and some.
Well, I mean, yeah, but they also dropped Wolfenstein 2 and Evil Within 2, bam, bam, just like that. I mean, it wasn't their best, but it wasn't a bad conference.
I didn't say, don't get me wrong. I didn't say it was a bad one. I'm just saying it wasn't. It wasn't a mic dropping.
I need more help in the kitchen.
Which is why it was a 35-minute conference.
Yeah.
But Pete Hines has already said that this one's going to be their longest conference ever. So
they got to update to their Elder Scrolls card game. That's what.
Mike, no, stop.
What happened to Peter?
It's kind of a good question.
Peter got Bethesda'd out. He's gone. Oh wait, he just he's so I'm falling asleep and not feeling great. So I think he got ill. Bethesda illed him. So all right, so we're gonna have to do this again with the testing my skills tonight. So all right.
Peter is a mushroom.
Yes, he is mushroomed out. All right, so since we're talking about E3, this would be a great time to bring up. Actually, before we bring it up, what I actually wanted to get, since we have Sam here tonight, and he is one of the few people who has been able to play it early. I wanted to get Sam's overall impressions of State of Decay 2 considering the I guess the controversies surrounding it. So I wanted to get Sam's take. So, and since I feel Sam is an honest broker in this, seeing as he's played it, I would trust his word over a lot of other people's.
So, I mean, if anyone read my impressions and or my review, I played it for about 40 hours. I played about 30 hours on my Xbox One X, about 10 hours on my PC. Once I finally got it to download, because Windows Store is Windows Store, right? That's a constant. That's a given. But once I got it downloaded there and I was playing on my X, I really enjoyed it. I think the gameplay systems are fantastic. The way... I'm trying to think of how to summarize this. State of Decay 2 uses a lot of really cool systems to determine how communities interact with each other, how groups of survivors will receive you, how the morale of your compatriots, how they're going to interact with each other. Like, if someone has in their little flavor text, in their bio that they don't like this kind of music or they don't get along with this type of personality, that's not just there for the sake of being there. They will literally have arguments and break out into fights and lower morale with people that they don't get along with, which will cause problems, which makes noise in your camp, which will draw in more Zeds, which will draw in more zombies, deadlier zombies. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There are a lot of really cool systems at play here. Unfortunately, the performance issues are true. That's just the facts. That's all there is to it, even on the Xbox One X. If you're in a busy, crowded street, or you're in a vehicle mowing over zombies, the frame rate gets a little cinematic. It gets very stylistic, very... Human eye can't see above 24 frames per second. It definitely can. So that's unfortunate. I was really lucky, and I didn't encounter any bugs, though. And I've had this conversation with a bunch of different people, so I'm just going to reiterate what I said there. I'm not calling anyone a liar, because... so many people have said this is what we've experienced X, we've experienced Y, this. But I didn't encounter any bugs. That's just all there is to it. I didn't have any issues with that. I think maybe I had some clipping, like, character models going through objects, but other than that, I didn't encounter any crashes. The game has not crashed on me once in 40 hours of playing. I had my brother play with me. I had my mom play with me. They both played for several hours. I teamed up with Bear Claw Gaming. Zach, he's a good guy, and we co-opted because we knew we both were reviewing it. We both had review copies. Neither of us ran into any bugs, game-breaking or obnoxious. So I don't really know what to tell people there, except it's in Game Pass.
Your mileage may vary.
Your mileage may vary.
That's what I'm thinking.
And we're now learning, because unfortunately now it isn't on dedicated servers. It is on peer-to-peer.
Really?
Which is a mistake. Yes, and Jez Corden of Windows Central, he has a bone to pick about that, and I really can't blame him, because Microsoft, you're the king of cloud. Why is this thing on peer-to-peer?
Right. How is that? How?
Yep, fair question.
That is a legitimate complaint. That is a legitimate gripe, where if someone wants to
I didn't even know that.
by all means, please do. So that's a very long-winded way of me getting to, we're now learning that it might have something to do with NAT settings, because a lot of people that have OpenNAT and play only with OpenNAT people are saying they don't have any problems whatsoever, but if people have strict or moderate NAT settings or any other wonkiness and stuff like that, that it's causing major issues. So we think it might somehow be tied to that in the co-op, or even just if you're playing online, even by yourself. I don't know. What I'll tell you is this. I stand by my review. I gave it an 8.3. I think that even with the performance issues I encountered, it's a fantastic game. Looks great on the X, runs well on my PC. But it's on Game Pass. Try it there first. That's what I'd tell you. That's what Game Pass is there for.
Yep.
Well, there's also...
Try it there and see how it goes.
I sort of have two thoughts on this, as far as, because I read that, and I have Game Pass, which is great. Mm-hmm. The game is only $30, so it's not a full price game.
No, it's not. It's a $30 game.
So the prevalent complaint is, here we go, it's another cheap Microsoft game that doesn't play well. What's going on with Microsoft? And that's the problem that they're facing right now is they're facing this what's wrong with Microsoft because they can't even put out State of Decay 2, which has been in development since God knows when, and here we are and people are experiencing, Fastback said he had some lag while driving. I have seen video of people falling through the world and that kind of thing. So I mean the bugs are real, nobody's making it up, but it goes back to this, goes back to the stigma.
For me, it sounds. I haven't played it yet. I'm waiting for Game Pass. Right. But I do look forward to it. I only
do I, by the way.
I only kind of dabbled in the first game. I never got into it. But yeah, I will. As a Game Pass owner, and if you are someone who's going to play the Microsoft first-party stuff this year, there's no reason not to be a Game Pass subscriber. I'm definitely going to have to give it a go. As far as the stigma or the what's going on with Microsoft, it's the Xbox is now the Wii U, and every shortcoming is going to be criticized to death. It's not going to get any passes for anything until we've gone on to whatever's next. This is I've come to accept that that's just going to be the case. You can have games that are hugely popular, that have massive flaws. I think of like Breath of the Wild's weapon degradation, and it'll get a pass. It'll be like, well, it's really kind of a terrible thing, or the rain, killing your climbing, or just totally taking you out of what you want to do just because it starts raining in that game. They get a pass, and yeah, it's a great game, but it also gets a complete pass for things that are really, really obnoxious with it. And the tiniest little flaws, the tiniest, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, right? All the way down to Sea of Thieves Kraken doesn't have a body, which is, if you actually play the game, has no impact on gameplay. Like, it still feels like a Kraken attack. You're not supposed to see the fact there's no body, much like we don't ever see Kratos' balls. Does he not have balls?
It's just an ink.
Man, that's a mental image I really didn't need.
Kratos is a eunuch.
Thanks.
Just so you know, Kratos is a eunuch, because if it matters that we don't have a Kraken body, it matters that we haven't seen Kratos' balls. I'm just saying.
And here's the thing.
Kratos shows his balls when he. Kratos shows his balls when he's out there. Don't worry.
But that's a part of it. I'm not saying they haven't. Obviously, what we're seeing is we're seeing old budgets, and we're gonna be seeing old budgets probably for a while, right? And the gamer community is not prepared to be patient at all. They want the next thing to be the very next thing that happens to be the big turnaround, and it's just not that way. It's just not. We haven't had Phil at the head of the table for that long.
Right, and that's something I don't mean to cut you off, but that's just something I've been saying as well. One is, unfortunately, it's not a good thing. Believe me, it's painful for me too. We're just now learning that Phil is only capable of making the changes we want, the growth we want, putting the foundations we want as of a few months ago.
Right. Not
for the past several years, which, trust me, as a primarily Xbox guy, that sucks. It sucks big time. It is painful because 2013 was painful enough, and then we never got over that. And I want to address something that Fastback said in the chat. He said State of Decay 2 is a AA title upgraded from an arcade game. With that kind of budget, you have to be realistic if it's a second-party game, or second game, rather, from a small studio. I agree. You do. But here's the thing. At the same time, should it have been? If Microsoft... I don't know, but the things I'm now beginning to hear about Crackdown 3, and some others are hearing about Crackdown 3, maybe State of Decay 2 should have been delayed a little bit. And they should have had the coalition in there cleaning things up, polishing it more, give them an extra $1 million to play around with, or another $2 million here or there.
I think it could be.
Should it have been a AA game? Maybe it should have actually been a AAA game.
For a Game Pass title, I don't have a problem with it. It's how it's advertised. I do believe that the devs came out and said, they mentioned, AAA and upgrading. So they kind of set themselves up for that a little bit.
They did, yeah.
So
right.
Managing expectations, of course, is always like 99% of the battle. Just like No Man's Sky completely failed to manage their expectations. expectations got a little out of hand for State of Decay.
I'll say this in regards to this. I've got about 15 hours into State of Decay 2. I've been playing it every night since the Ultimate Edition launched on Friday, and I'm really enjoying it. And with the whole NAT and like internet settings, that's 100%. What is the issue? I had my friend come over. He brought his Xbox over. We played on my internet. I have really, really good internet. I was hosting. We had no issues. I had no crashes. I had very little. The only glitch that I ran into is when my friend would crouch to go into stealth mode, his lower part of his body would disappear into the road. So there'd be this little torso going along after a zombie. But that was pretty much like, not anything where I'm like, oh,
no
that's
crashes.
Really yeah, no, I still have yet to have any crashes. But I will say, when I played in his world, when he went back home last night, and he doesn't have great internet, like, at all. And I experienced all the frame rate drops, all the things people were complaining about, and I kind of get where that's coming from. Should it have had dedicated servers? Probably. Was it in the original budget for the game?
No.
Probably not.
Right.
Was the first game peer-to-peer as well?
There
was no co-op.
Well, I mean, yeah, but yeah, there was no co-op. It was an indie title. It was
but
$20.
I think with State of Decay 2, part of the problem they have, and I hate feeding into social media tar, I'm going to call it, is Microsoft's first-party lineup last year was weak. Anyone can say that, whatever. There were some good games last year. I enjoyed a lot of the games they put out last year. Quality, quantity, differentiation. But I think the problem is with Microsoft's first-party lineup being more sparse, when a game doesn't do exceptionally well, it sticks in people's minds for a longer period of time. Sony's had missteps in games and had bad reviewed games. Everyone forgets that Until Dawn's Inpatient, absolutely terribly reviewed. It's like a 48 in review score. It was absolutely awful PSVR game, but no one paid attention to it because there was other titles coming at that time to make people think past that. With State of Decay 2, it's part of this lineup that we expect from Microsoft. There's these very few games we knew about coming into this year. We had Crackdown 3, we had State of Decay 2, we had Sea of Thieves, and these were the games that people were looking forward to. So there's a huge spotlight on State of Decay 2 that maybe should, if there had been other titles for people to focus on, may not have been hit as hard, because I think the game's very enjoyable. Is it a little janky? Yeah, it's a little janky. Some of the animations needed some more work, and hopefully Undead Labs can improve that in time with patches and everything else, and they can improve the performance and improve people's experiences with the game, because there's a good base game underneath the bugs and the issues and everything else. But I think people are focusing so much on this game because it's the Microsoft title, because we had Sea of Thieves and we have State of Decay 2, whereas PlayStation just had God of War, and now they have Detroit a week from now, I think. So people on social media spaces are obviously going to compare the two, when really and truly State of Decay 2 is its own thing.
They're totally different games.
It's a whole different thing. And
they are, and it ties into what Juan was saying as well, right? About how everything's going to be under the the magnifying glass. Can't talk right now. The problem is people are going to want every single game that's coming out now to be Halo 6 or the new Fable reboot or Perfect Dark, and it's not going to be. But that being said, this is I hope this is the last time. I really do. I hope we've finally gotten through the tooth-pulling phase, and we're going to get to the point now where, okay, even if games have to be delayed more, they're invested on more, they get bigger, they get the quality budget, the quality control that they need.
Right.
Well, what Nick was saying, though, you can see it play out even last year. Voodoo Vince was a quality remaster of that game. Now, I know not everyone was looking for that game, but it was pretty quality remaster. It wasn't a bad play at all. Phantom Dust was, it had kind of a level of jank to it due to its age and the kind of more of a port nature it was. It was actually kind of impressive that they even got it going, given that they didn't have any source code. But that's not it's something they're going to get credit for because it looks old. And both of those suffered because it was your lineup is an RTS, which is of course kind of goofy, just an RTS. Your lineup is an RTS and this old game, so everything looks worse because it doesn't have data with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I played through Phantom Dust. I think that's some phenomenal gameplay, and it totally got the shaft last year by even giving it away. I don't know what it is with the because it was something different or because it wasn't AAA or what, but it just totally got raked over the coals. And really, unless you hate anything card based, I really recommend trying anyway because it was from a different era of Microsoft when they had Japanese support and they took risks with games. So it really kind of bothered me that it suffered for being in the number of games that it was. It shouldn't suffer for that. It should be taken at its face value.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that was a game preservation project, in my opinion.
Right.
Every game should be taken at face value. I don't get the whole comparing this game to this game to this game. I prefer myself to look at every game on an individual basis. I play a lot of really, really oddball indie titles that not necessarily everyone else is going to play. There was a indie title, I think it was called The Littlest Acre. It takes about 2 hours complete, little point-and-click adventure. It's like $2.99 or whatever. I really enjoyed it. Am I going to compare that game to some other indie title like Hellblade or Cuphead? No. I just enjoyed the game for what it was, and that's what I do with my games, is I go in and look at the game for what it is and not trying to cross-compare it to something else. Like, if you're trying to compare State of Decay 2 to Detroit, you're insane. One's a story-based narrative, I can't even think of the name of the genre that would fall.
Well, it's like an adventure game. It's like a Telltale.
It's a Telltale.
Yeah,
it's a very high budget Telltale game. Basically.
Yeah, it's a very high budget Telltale game. Whereas State of Decay 2 is more in the sim world and the zombie territory. If you wanted to compare State of Decay 2 to something, I can't even say Dead Island even, because it's a whole different mechanics and everything else. There's really no other game like it on the console market right now.
Which is one of the reasons I've enjoyed it, because it's so unique with what it does with its gameplay systems.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing else has done this. I mean this in a good way. It's Walking Dead simulator. Create your own community conflicts, create your own community drama, and almost soap opera type stuff. But it's great if you're into that kind of thing. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think it's something too when we're talking about Microsoft and Sony and these lineups, is kind of looking at what they're aiming at, what they're trying for. Microsoft seems to focus on gameplay. Seems to focus on some gameplay experience and such. And Sony, and this isn't a dig, focuses on that which will be readily consumed, and it ticks off all the checkboxes that a reviewer is going to have. It's going to look good. It's going to be polished, and maybe it's not going to shake any foundations of the world in its gameplay, but it's going to be it's going to be pretty. It's going to be solid. It's not going to show you behind the curtain the little glitches. It's going to have a level of difficulty that is not too challenging. It is going to have it's going to hit all those boxes so it can review well. It's kind of like the difference between an Oscar movie and Evil Dead.
Yeah, I get that. It's kind of a rough comparison, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I get where you're going with that. And this really is another conversation altogether that could suck up hours and hours of time. But Microsoft and the devs they work with tend, on a general basis, on a general rule, to push for unique gameplay systems. Sometimes at the detriment of things that it shouldn't be at the detriment to.
Right.
Whereas Sony, again, focuses on presentation. They focus on that movie-making experience, that cinematic quality. Doesn't mean they don't have good gameplay. God of War has incredible gameplay, but
yeah,
that's another conversation altogether. Really.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say anything negative about the gameplay in these games.
No, I know you're not. I know you're not.
But when people can look at it and go, "That looks like Rise," and not just in looks, but I'm saying it's correct me if I'm wrong, it's not open world. It's kind of corridor-ish. It's quasi open world.
It's hub. It's hub. It's kind of its own thing. It's kind of like Bloodborne.
Sure. Yeah. So I actually heard somebody, and I had to chuckle a bit because on Twitter they were like, "Oh my God, check out this game-changing thing in God of War where, your attacks are on your bumpers and your triggers, and you don't have to take your thumb off the stick." And I'm like, "Where have you been since like 2007? What's going on here?" So, like I said, I'm not dogging anything. I think that they have a certain product that they want to put out, and that they maybe don't push in the same areas that Microsoft does.
Right, but the product has to, whether or not it checks boxes or not, it still has to appeal. So, I was looking across the Metacritic scores, and I brought up every game that you mentioned, Juan.
Mm-hmm.
Voodoo Vince, even State of Decay 1, Voodoo Vince, and Phantom Dust. And of the three, State of Decay is the lowest rated of those three games. State of Decay 2. Even by, as I'm scrolling down and looking at who's reviewing it, even Xbox specific websites, Xbox Achievements, XGN,
right.
Are
because
all,
what they're looking for the God of War killer. They're looking for the big AAA answer. I don't know how many times on Twitter I saw, "Oh my God, this is your answer to God of War." No, it is not an answer to anything.
No.
It
is.
is.
There won't be one for years.
But State of Decay is not that game. But reading, for example, the Xbox Achievements review of State of Decay 2. I mean, they say to say it's buggy is an understatement. I've had to restart the game on many occasions because of mission bugs, but they also said their exact words is an exercise in frustration. At its core, it's very much a State of Decay game, but one that seems to have taken a step backwards for the franchise. Now, that's an Xbox site saying that. So that's one of the problems that Microsoft has, is that right now, no, they don't have a God of War killer, and that's part of the problem. Now, that's where we're.
I don't know that
that leads into our next conversation,
right. Which I'm getting ready to bring up the thing for now.
I've said a couple of times recently, I don't want my Xbox to be a PlayStation.
And I agree. That's the thing. I agree with you.
I would agree with that too, but in a way,
doesn't mean you can't have one.
In a different way, it almost needs to move in that direction, because a lot of people are expecting it to compete, and you can't compete. I'm sorry, as much as Sam and Nick like State of Decay 2 and things like that, when you are launching in the same general area and you want people to get your console, you've got to put up a game that has the quality or at least gets close. You can't it's like you can't compare the two, not even from a this type of game versus this type of game. Is there a fireworks display going on somewhere? Is that you, Nick?
Yeah, it's popping off in my neighborhood right now, apparently.
What the hell is going on up there?
Duck and cover, bro. Duck and cover.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's long weekend here, so everybody in the neighborhood is getting drunk and shooting fireworks into the air. It's great.
Yeah.
Someone's distracting a horse.
Jesus. Annihilator says duck.
Right.
So, but I mean... that's my feeling is that I'm not saying I need a God of War game on the Xbox. I know that kind of game comes out of Sony Santa Monica, or not Santa Monica.
No, that was Sony Santa Monica.
Yeah, Santa Monica.
Yeah.
But to compete platform-wise, they've got to get games that are of that caliber, and
they don't.
Go ahead.
They don't need all these, and yeah, I'm going to use the word, whatever, cinematic, slightly open world, but not really action-adventure games with, strong emotional themes. They don't need to copy Sony. They just need one that's done well. They just need to prove, hey, by the way, we have a studio that can do this too. We excel over here, but we got this too. We understand how to do it.
And they have those potentials. The problem is they can't execute on them. Scalebound could have been a giant game. a giant
I don't know.
game for them.
I mean, the further we get from that happening, the less people seem to remember that it did look kind of rough performance-wise in every showing. It never got better.
Right, but that gets to that also gets to my issue is that it looked rough performance-wise. Imagine that game the way that I'm sure Microsoft envisioned it. Because I have no doubt that the way Microsoft envisioned that game was going to be huge. And just by scale, we talk about the scale of God of War, and I've been playing it like I'm like I've got to be 25 hours into God of War from all the streams, and I'm not done. But the giant serpent, the big enemies, the things like that. Scalebound had some of that. It had some of that big set piece, big kind of thing. And it got killed because I will stick by my theories with what happened in that game and what happened with Platinum Games. I will stick by my theories till I die. But you've got to get something in there that can compete. That's my point.
I 100% agree with you in the aspects of, my problem as a person is I will take games at face value because I'm so invested in the gaming atmosphere. Like, I'll always have a PlayStation console. I'll always have an Xbox console. Mm-hmm. I use my Xbox to play with my friends because that's where my friends have always played. And I'll always have a PlayStation console because I'm a huge fan of some of their IPs.
That is exactly how I am.
Yeah,
100%.
But the thing is like, Microsoft has had good games. Like, no one here is saying that they haven't had good games. Halo Wars 2 was great. Cuphead was amazing. But as far as in terms of having a game of that scale, like, I think that's where you're coming from. Is like, they don't need a God of War game. They don't need, like, the Fable reboot could end up being their God of War game if handled properly.
Sure.
Right? But what they need is a game of that scale.
Could you imagine, and Juan loves this game, could you imagine a better fleshed out or better budgeted ReCore?
Sure.
Absolutely.
That could have been that
Jewel
kind
and
of
the
game.
Bots have a lot of potential.
They absolutely do.
Absolutely
That's something
do.
Jez Corden and I have talked about a lot. Like, they scream family-friendly marketing potential. Strong female heroine, cutesy bots that can do different things. That's fantastic. And
Look,
fortunately, I think... Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'd say, look, it barks like a dog.
Exactly. It's like, come on, that writes itself to families. Fortunately, I think out of all the new IPs, let me say this, not the games, out of all the new IPs they've launched this gen, I think from my talks with people that ReCore has the best chance of getting a sequel, by far.
And it should. And they should rip it out of Armature's hands, and they should give it to... I'll tell you what, could you imagine... Now, they're not going to do it because they're in the middle of revamping Sea of Thieves. Could you imagine ReCore with Rare? The type of game they could make with that?
They can make a good game. I'll do you one better, and I stole this from Eric because he and I were talking about when we wrote our Xbox predictions piece with Nick. Imagine Moon Studios taking a crack at it after Ori.
But they're working on Will of the Wisps.
Yeah, but I mean after Will of the Wisp.
I don't think we could wait that long because we haven't seen. When is Will of the Wisp coming out?
We always can. There's a whole lot of I can't wait. If this happens, I'm done.
Here's the thing. I'm going to steal a quote from Doctor Strange. We're in the end game now. That's what it is. We got to get through this gen, basically. That's what it comes down to for Xbox. And that sucks, but it is what it is.
Yep.
So the problem, and the problem with that is that they just heaped two $500 consoles on the populace this gen. I mean, that's a hard sell that really is a hard sell for the next gen.
Well, the idea that it's gonna be soon it's not gonna be soon. The Xbox One X, eventually they'll phase out the X, the original Xbox One, and the Xbox One X will no longer be tethered to having to have games that need to be playable on the other one, and it will have. That right there in itself will extend its life.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the iterative console generational thing now. I mean, we're not getting a brand new. Neither company's coming out with a brand new console with all new architecture and leaving behind anything. That's just not happening. But the X has the ability and power to drive a recore. And it's not just that. It's I think a different studio could take that franchise and do with it what it should. Because
I agree.
Because, going back to these big set piece games like God of War, things like that, Santa Monica it's playable just fine on my base PS4. These games could be played on a base PS1. I could imagine. Oh man, could you imagine if Insomniac wasn't working on Spider-Man? I would give them Record a heartbeat. After Sunset Overdrive, I would trust them with that.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe. I mean, I think that takes it a little.
I'm just saying that they've got it. This is where I think they need to go. They don't need to have a whole slate of them because I think Microsoft, and I think we're going to see it at E3. I think Microsoft's going to double down on multiplayer, community-based games. There's nothing wrong with that, but that can't be all they do. They can't.
So we're in our E3 talk now at this point?
Nate.
Okay.
Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, State of Decay, big games.
I don't know.
I mean, you're a Sea of Thieves player, and you play a lot of the. See, you're a multiplayer guy, so I'm curious where you sit on this.
I like single players, I guess, but like we haven't really had a big one that caught my eye lately. So I can't say that I don't play single player games. Like, I don't have a PlayStation, but Detroit Being Human looks really good. So I don't know. I don't think, like Juan said, I think that what's going to play a big part is what plays best on.
Yep.
All right. So with that, we're going to go to E3 talk. This is sounded kind of important stuff because this is our we're going to spend the next couple weeks giving our road to E3 things leading up to the press briefing for Microsoft starting on June 10th. And yes, I pilfered the Microsoft image, and yes, I cut off theirs because, as everybody knows, we are going to be doing our live show like we did last year, except as we've been testing excuse me, guys, as we've been testing the Elgato with this nice PC that I have, we have a very, very good image quality this year for our conferences. So we're going to be live streaming the Microsoft and the Sony conferences, and for at least this one, still working on it. I know Sam's going to be at E3, but I have been discussing with Cal doing a joint show with TIC as we're now an affiliate of TIC, and having them and us broadcast the show on our YouTube channel, their YouTube channel, and our Twitch channel simultaneously. We're still working that out, but at the very least, we're going to have our show and hopefully a couple of TIC members on to live show it with us.
Nice.
So
I wish I could be here, but at the
yeah,
same time,
no, you don't.
I don't.
No, you don't.
No,
you don't.
I'll actually be there.
No, you
I'm
don't.
Flying out.
Yeah,
flying out.
I wish I was going with you.
19 days. Yeah, dude, I wish you were all going with me. I wish we could all hang out. It would be fantastic.
I go back and forth. I'm like, I'm too old. Then I'm like, maybe I got one more left in me before E3 finally takes the dirt nap. And I'm like, no, but I what am I gonna do? I don't know. I always want to do it, but then I'm perfectly comfortable sitting here and watching it.
Come on, I'm going next year. Come on.
All right, take me with you next year, Nick. Well, get me in as a TIC person.
We'll talk.
I'll pretend I have the power to do that.
So,
we'll talk.
I'm gonna be I am gonna be helping with the site a little bit, so I'll have some bylines.
E3?
Yeah. No, I'm not going to E3 this year.
No, E3.
What?
E3.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, E3.
Oh.
E3.
Okay. So anyway, Microsoft E3. So since we're talking about where Microsoft needs to go, this week we're doing our E3 Road to E3, the Microsoft edition. Since we have our guests from Tick Network, what is actually going to come from E3? Now we know that it's different. We know that they're doing something different for their briefing. We don't know what it is yet. And I have no idea what's coming. I have no idea. I have no clue. So, what's coming?
Anyone want to dive into this, or?
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? At this point.
Yep.
Whatever it is that they're doing differently, I'm not even going to bother trying to guess, because I don't think there's any real way of knowing, except for the fact that they want to have their own building, which, among other things, makes sense because you want to give your floor space that's all about Xbox, that's, it's saturating people who go in there, whether they're gamers, reviewers, journalists, whatever, saturating the idea of Xbox on them, and presumably you're going to have a lot of game stations. I'd imagine you want a lot of space so people can play your games. That would make sense given what happened last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that seems pretty solid.
But in terms they've expanded the fan thing, Fan Fest, so that'll probably play into it.
Yeah, probably, because they're bringing more people for Fan Fest this year. So, in terms of games, I mean, look, we all know Forza Horizon 4 is going to be there, but because of course it is, that'll be fantastic. Rumors have gone back and forth. I still say it's in Japan. I still say it's Tokyo.
Perfectly acceptable by me.
That would be the most logical.
Yep, that makes sense to me. And I mean, maybe even they introduce optional police chases or things like that. Try to shake things up a little bit. A little bit of that Tokyo drift and nightlife going on there. I can't imagine how gorgeous it's going to be, considering how good Forza Horizon 3 already looked.
I've been longing for that ever since I used to play Midnight Club. They can do anything. Like, I love arcade racers. I'm not a huge fan of sim racers because, to be frankly, I play racers like bumper cars. So sim racers aren't exactly my strong point. But Forza Horizon 4 has got my attention. Like Forza Horizon 3 was the first racer I've played since Need for Speed Most Wanted on the GameCube, I think. And I was absolutely not disappointed. So Forza Horizon 4, put in Japan. If there's police chase, it's cool. If there's not, I'm still with it because the locale will be amazing. The cars will be amazing. There's nothing but quality that comes out of that franchise. So,
did you ever play the first one?
I think I got about halfway through when it went free. I played it for about 6-7 hours, and I meant to go back to it.
Yeah, if you hadn't since they got the X enhancement, it's really worth a look. It's totally trippy seeing it look the way that it does, as old as it is. And I still think that, in a lot of ways, I like that one best. Like, it's obviously not as open world. There's a lot of invisible walls, fences, things like that. But the whole underdog, and I've said this before, but the whole underdog, new guy arrival, working through the tournament and the different NPCs you work past and all that, it just had more narrative to it than, hey, you're the boss, and make the what do you want to do next, boss? And
yeah.
Not that I didn't love Horizon 3 to death, and the Hot Wheels thing. I mean, come on, right? That was just brilliant.
Oh yeah.
That was phenomenal.
But so I'm hoping we kind of get, it'd be kind of cool if you had, fish out of water in Japan,
Oh yeah. Again, like I said, Tokyo Drift. Just rip from that by all means for good reason. And again, I'll say this again. That game is going to be gorgeous, no matter what setting it's in.
Sure.
Playground Games is phenomenal. Moving on from that, here's the big question, right? Halo 6. We know it's in the pipeline. We know it's coming. They can't have this E3 and not show it in some capacity, right?
Yeah, I would imagine we'll see something.
Well,
Like even just a teaser, even a teaser at absolute minimum. Because I mean, word is, and I agree with it, that this is going to be the first time Halo is on a 4-year cycle and not 3. Because if we go by past cycles, it should be arriving this fall, but I don't think there's any way it does.
No, it won't be. It won't be that. It'll be the Halo, the Master Chief Collection X enhancement. Will be what takes its place this year and goes to 4-year cycle.
And comes to Game Pass and Windows 10 as well. It'll.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, because 5's in Game Pass, so that makes all the sense in the world. I think gone are the days when, you could walk off stage and go, oh, by the way, one more thing, and it's the Halo trailer. I think.
No, I don't think that's their one more thing moment by a stretch of the imagination, but I think you either tease that when you're talking about Halo, like, okay, there's two ways you can do this, right? You can dedicate some time on the stage to talk about Master Chief Collection. We're sorry, we listened to the fans, we're bringing it to Game Pass, we fixed it, we're bringing it to Windows 10, blah, 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 and then have a teaser for Halo 6, maybe even a beta coming early next year, January, February, something like that. A little cinematic teaser, like a 30, 45-second Blur Studios trailer.
If you get Crackdown 3, you get in the beta?
That's thematic and it's perfect. That would be perfect. You know what? They absolutely should do that.
I guess we're gonna see Crackdown 3 at E3 again.
I would hope so. Anyway,
they've gotta. Dude, if they don't show it, if they don't show some single player.
Well, they need to show single player, and they need to show cloud destruction if they've made it work.
Yeah.
If they haven't, they need to flush it or whatever. But they have to show something.
Yeah. So moving on to Crackdown 3, there's some good news and some bad news in the rumor pipeline there. The good news is what I'm hearing from a lot of people, and Jez Corden's heard the same things, is that they want Crackdown 3. Microsoft wants Crackdown 3 to be as big as a Halo title. Or a Gears title. They want this to be a big event. They want this to be a huge game. And they're pouring a lot of money into it. Now that the budget has been freed up, Phil's hands are no longer tied. Evidently, that Sumo Digital is getting a lot of additional money to fix things, to add new content, to things like that, which is great.
Now, Sumo's doing which side of it?
Sumo is doing the single player. Ruffian Games isn't really involved in, I think, Reagent's handling the cloud alongside Cloud Engine.
Right. Reagent is right. And remember, CloudGen was bought by Epic. So now they
would not have bought it if it didn't work in some capacity.
Right.
I don't think Microsoft should have let them buy it, but that's another topic altogether.
I know. That was weird. Yeah, I got you.
But the point is, the thing I'm worried about is if it's actually getting all this additional work, I'm not sure it's going to be coming this summer or even this year.
And I would be okay with that if, and only if, they show us something of that improvement. I'm okay with it. I'm never one that really gets on game delays as long as we don't get into a situation of scalebound. Now they're not canceling Crackdown 3. There's no way they can.
It will not happen.
No.
Right.
This game's coming out come hell or high water. But if they are really working on it hard, then I'm okay with them delivering it next year, maybe in the spring, where I think it probably is going to do better. So
I think it could do fine this summer as well. Again, if it's a good game, if it's all right. But I mean, at the end of the day, if the rumors are true and it's getting additional funding to make it, that fourth pillar to make it as big as a Halo or Gears title, whatever, and they have to delay it because of that, then sure, that's fine. If it does come out this fall or this summer, this year sometime, I really hope it's still a good game.
Well, and so, I'm always in favor of, and Nick had to run. He said he'll be right back. I'm always in favor of honesty. So if, and I think this would go a long way. If Phil wants to prove he is transparent, if he came out and said exactly that, you know what? Here's what we're doing. We've decided that this is going to be a major release for us, and because of that, we're going to delay it, but the budget for this game is now much larger than it was before. And I think there's nothing wrong with Phil saying that at E3.
Nope.
Saying we've decided.
I mean, if nothing else, it's what people have been saying. Asking for evidence of. So him saying it,
right.
There's no harm in him doing so.
Not at all.
No.
And that plays into what I was talking about earlier with what they need for a big game that doesn't have to be a copying, because Crackdown 3 is definitely a game that Sony doesn't have. They don't have anything like it. So, I have always had a soft spot for the Crackdown franchise, and I was, really sad about Crackdown 2 and how that turned out. Crackdown 3 to me is one of those games that to me is one of the pillars of the Xbox brand. Crackdown, Halo, Gears, Forza, Fable. Crackdown to me sits there. And that's why I've been hesitant to really get my hopes up with Crackdown 3 lately, because you don't hear anything, and then excuse me, and then CloudGen gets bought by Epic, and I'm like, wait a minute, what does that mean? What's going on now? It's a game I'm hoping is going to be what I have envisioned it to be.
Yeah.
And they need to show something more than what we were seeing last year at E3 and Gamescom, because that was a little embarrassing to them. And they knew it, beyond giving Jeff Bartram his own character and stuff like that, which was really cool. But a lot of people were underwhelmed with what they saw, considering what they are promising. So now this year, even if they're going to delay it till next year, they got to show something that is a step above what they've been showing before.
I mean, they didn't help themselves either with having that actress work with Larry on the live. She had just no interest in it, and
they did that to themselves.
Yeah,
Larry. I felt so bad for Larry throughout that whole thing.
Yep. Honestly, if I were them, and regardless of whether that game comes out in July or it's being pushed back till next year, I would say show the cloud, show the destruction. If it still exists, show it, please. That's what I would say.
And if it doesn't exist, what the hell do you do?
Stop telling people that it's still there.
Yeah, and you just say, look, it was a cool experiment. It didn't work out. Here's what we're doing instead.
Right. CloudGen sucks.
You don't need to have Cloud to have destruction. Games have destruction without it.
Sure.
Right.
But cloud-powered destruction, what the tech demos they showed off were on another level. If
that's
not
God,
happening,
yes.
Yeah.
If it's not happening, they need to get in front of it ASAP. If it is still happening, they need to show it off.
Yep. I totally agree.
We're beyond that, moving quickly here. The Last Night, Ashen, Below, all three are smaller titles, but in my opinion, all three look fantastic. Ashen in particular looks like it has some really cool gameplay systems I don't think people are really expecting.
Are they coming this year, these games?
Supposedly, yep.
Because I haven't seen release dates on them yet.
I mean, Below, they reiterated at PAX that it was coming this year.
It did.
So I think those are likely summer titles. Just drop them somewhere, sprinkle them in June, July, August, maybe even early September, something like that.
I don't think they're going to drop them in September, because I think Forza Horizon 4 is coming in September.
Yeah, Forza Horizon 4 is
typically that's Forza month.
Yeah. Which I think it'll do fine, because there's not really any other big racing games this year, are there?
No.
Not that I can think of. So
The Crew 2.
Oh yeah, The Crew 2. Well, but is that 2018? I don't know if they said it was 2018.
It is, because it was supposed to be earlier this spring, but Crew 2 is going to be in July. So or sometime around there. So
so that's what happened to Nick. I'm sorry, guys. Nick says power went out. That's why Nick dropped out.
Nate's back.
Tell him to light the fire.
I'm sitting here.
So now it's down. Now we're down to 3.
But I didn't know Skype crashed because you guys were still talking.
Oh, and, well, you were still there. You were just frozen.
Yeah, that was weird.
So now we're down. Now we're down to the 4 of us.
Yeah, Skype.
We are dropping like flies. So okay. So we have those. So do we have any surprises?
I got three things like off the top of my head I'm going to rattle off. Or actually 4 things. I think Shadow of the Tomb Raider, they have the marketing deal for that. That's just obvious.
I don't think that's a surprise, though.
No. Hang on. Okay. Hang on a second here. I think they're going to go... pardon me. Sorry about that. I think they're going to go really strong on third-party marketing. They have the X, get third-party games to show off how good this console looks. So I think Shadow of the Tomb Raider is coming to Game Pass.
Interesting.
You and I have talked about this. This would be huge.
Don't go after timed exclusives anymore.
No,
go after Game Pass.
Go after Game Pass. That would be because you know how I feel how you guys know how I feel about Microsoft's exclusives going into Game Pass. That was a game changer to me, and it makes it very affordable. It's the reason I could play Sea of Thieves. It's the reason I could play, with my limited budget, State of Decay.
SOD. Yep.
Yep. Many people feel the same way. Yeah. I know at least 5 people just in my circle of friends who they're like, yeah, Game Pass is the reason I'm getting an Xbox this year.
Yeah.
So
that is a game-changing thing. But
I can tell you something we're not going to see at E3.
What?
We're not going to see Xbox drop paid micro. Paid
that was the.
We're not going to see that.
Every year we get that rumor, and I've seen it, and I've actually seen websites report on this as a rumor. So
we threw it in our predictions just for the heck of talking about what a megaton it would be if it happens, but realistically, it's not going to happen.
I mean, sure, it'd be PR gold.
Why should it?
It would be PR gold, but you know what? It's literal gold rolling into Microsoft right now.
Right.
Exactly. They are not giving up those money bags. It ain't happening. Now, I will say this, though. I can see a Game Pass Xbox Live discount merger deal.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, Game Pass and Xbox Live for $15, $16 a month. I can see something like that happening, which would still be pretty big.
And it would have to be something that was cheaper than the two of them together. Anyway, so,
right. Even a slight discount on the two of them, getting them together.
But what if? Just saying. What if they simply combine them? Instead of dropping the paywall for multiplayer, what if they just combined them?
Yeah.
I don't think they would lose it. I don't think they would lose that much money. Honestly.
They'd have to raise the prices somehow, though, right? To subsidize? In theory?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think they combine them. I think realistically a discount on getting both of them together, a combined service option.
I'd love to
but the other two options stay separate options.
I'd love to see the numbers of people who have one but not the other. I'd be interested to see what the delta is, and if combining them would bring that delta up. That's the only reason I say it. So let's say, I don't know. And I'm talking paid. I mean, I know what Microsoft says about overall Xbox Live accounts. There's 50 million of them, 75 million, whatever. But they can't have as many. They're not all paid. They're not all Xbox Live Gold, right? Game Pass doesn't have nothing but multiplayer games. So you can get Game Pass to play a lot of a lot of the single player stuff, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking out loud, and I may be totally way off base. If the Game Pass subscription base begins to outpace gold memberships, right? Combining them could bring the gold memberships up, which then could get you into other things. I don't know. At some point, they've got to. At some point, the noise from the PC side is is going to get deafening enough. They're going to do something.
Nah.
Nope.
No,
Because the PC thing, those markets don't overlap enough.
I know
for that
that.
to matter.
I know they don't.
That's why XPA exists. XPA exists because of the fact that those markets don't overlap enough for people not paying for online on PC to matter at all.
Because it's just some bone they're throwing, trying to get an advantage over Steam somehow. They're trying to get something out there. But,
I mean, they don't. Yeah, I mean, they don't charge for multiplayer on Windows 10 on the Windows 10 store because that's where they're competing with Steam. They're not competing with Steam on the Xbox.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yeah. But the only other two big things I'll say about their E3 is they need to show Fable. I don't think they need to show Perfect Dark. They just need to tease Fable. Everyone knows it exists. It is an open book secret. Everyone knows it's happening. Just go ahead and say, yep, it's here. Or not here, but Playground Games is working on it. Here's a quick teaser. We'll have more to say at a later date.
So what you're saying is they need to Rage 2 Fable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Fable's coming next year. But yes, that is exactly what they need to do. Because people know it's happening. It is not a secret. Perfect Dark is, even though I think Perfect Dark is happening, Perfect Dark is a little more nebulous. There's not, but you literally have Eurogamer saying, yes, we've interviewed employees who spoke anonymously, or we have ex-Lionhead employees who have talked to people who know what's happening. Like, people know. I go into Facebook comments of just the general Madden, Forza, COD crowd, and they talk about how they're hoping to see Fable. Okay, people know it exists.
Right.
Appease them.
Yep.
And the last thing I'll say is the show is ending on Cyberpunk.
Really?
Yes.
You're gonna. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a big game. Don't get me wrong. Right. But you're gonna end your conference on a third-party game.
They did last year.
I know, which is part of the. Again, it gets back to what we perceive as the issue Microsoft needs to get through with their first-party studios. Man,
I know, but the thing is, the hype for Cyberpunk is reaching a fever pitch. That game was initially teased back in 2013, and we don't know anything really about it. People want to see something. The Witcher 3 has bought CD Projekt Red a ridiculous amount of goodwill with gamers and critics and the media alike. The noise from seeing a gameplay reveal or even just a trailer from that is going to be deafening. Just having it on their stage is going to benefit them significantly.
Yep. So as long as they don't, try to do anything like a Kickstarter.
Right.
No.
No, CD Projekt Red is not Kickstarter.
I don't think CD Projekt Red needs a Kickstarter. I don't think they need it.
and I'm not saying don't show it. I'm not at all. I'm not saying open with it if you want to open with it. But to close your show, it would be like it honestly would be like Sony closing their show with Call of Duty 4, Black Ops 4,
which they might this year.
No, they've got four.
No, they'll close
things.
it with The Last of Us.
Yeah, they're going to close us with it. Right.
Discussion.
They're going to.
There you go.
Kidding. Chief Tommy says close it with Goat Sim.
I mean, here's the thing. What else do they close it with? You close it with Cyberpunk, or you close it on the Fable teaser. Those are your options.
think you close. That's what I would close it on. So, and the reason
the only other thing you could do it is that.
The reason is because they know. So if it was okay to close Sony's show to last 2 shows with Last of Us 2, then it's okay to close Microsoft's show with Fable if Fable's not even ready until, let's say, late 2019, early 2020.
Absolutely.
There's no problem with that, because I think people want to see Fable. People want to see it. And if you're going to close the show, you close it on one of your games. You do not close it on a third-party game. I've never seen, up until recently when Microsoft's had this problem. I mean, I've been to many a Microsoft press conference. I can't remember in the Peter Moore era ever seeing them close on a third-party game. Ever. Now, what about closing on a Gears trailer?
The Gears 5 is not being announced this year.
You don't think?
A Gears spin? No, I do not think. A Gears spin-off, sure. Not Gears 5. Gears 5 is the next-gen game.
Could be. What about what kind of spin-off would come? Are you thinking like RTS, like XCOM kind of thing, or?
I don't think RTS. There's a couple of rumors. One of them is an XCOM type game. The other is more of a survival horror. Honestly, I'm good with either. I think both of those are directions that the franchise would be very, very strong in. There aren't a lot of good survival horror games. There aren't a lot of good XCOM type, turn-based but still kind of RTS games. I'd be okay with either. But I think we see a Gears spin-off, absolutely. Yes, but from Splash Damage, with maybe the Coalition overviewing. But not Gears 5.
See, they've tried the spin-off before.
Maybe a Gears arcade machine?
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to
a Gears Battle Royale game. Yeah. That's it. There it is.
Yeah, no, I'm not dogging on the arcade. I just, I just imagine they would go over like a fart church at an E3 conference, but...
No, and an arcade to do what?
Well, like the Halo arcade.
Oh, right. Which we may get a chance to look at, by the way, because a bunch of us are thinking of meeting up at a Dave & Buster's near my house. So there's actually people close to me. I don't know. I would think that would be an odd. I mean, they've done it before. They've tried to spin off Gears before. It didn't work real well.
Well, they spin it off to. I don't even remember that.
Judgment, but when I think spin-off, I think you're trying to do a different genre.
Yeah.
That's what I think. When I think spin-off, like a Halo spin-off, I think Halo Wars.
Mm-hmm. Or the Spartan Strikes, or...
Yeah, those are mobile games. No, I'm talking
I don't want to get
Halo.
too far into this because we're gonna move out of this. But what in the hell could you what could you possibly Gears kart racing? I mean, what could you possibly?
No. That's Electric Square's game. That'll be the third Forza franchise. But I'm being serious too. But Gears, you spin off into XCOM, the Pendulum Wars. You can cover the Pendulum Wars, or you can cover the Emergence Day outbreak, or like the tactics of maybe not even Gears. Not like the Gears themselves. Maybe a group of stranded trying to survive against Locust outbreak, waiting for rescue, things like that.
Or the Rise of Ram, or whatever.
Exactly. I mean, look, we play Gears of War, and we're these big, tough, 6-foot-something soldiers with giant guns with chainsaws attached to them. Imagine being a civilian with nothing, and the Locusts are emerging all around you. That's a horrifying concept, and it's ripe for game potential.
So a War of the Worlds kind of game.
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
You can play around with it.
Right.
I think this is definitely going to be an interesting conference. It's weird saying this, but the last thing I'll say about it is I feel like a lot hinges on their willingness to show Fable. I really do.
Yeah. What we haven't talked about here is any thought of a new IP.
Daryl Gallagher's studio.
Right, the one that they just...
Mm-hmm. The studio that was just announced, which he's obviously going to be the head of. They're probably working on a new IP. And they said we'll learn more at E3, so who knows? Maybe they actually take to the stage and announce, hey, here's the name of his new studio. He's working on project whatever. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'd be down.
Speaking of, and this is a total sidetrack, so I apologize, but
Sure.
You know what I realized the other day?
What?
Project Octopath, right?
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing. It's one of those moments where you realize something totally obvious.
I know where you're going with this.
The 8 protagonists,
Yep.
if you arrange their names, that spells Octopath.
Yeah. It's super cool. I like it.
I was looking at a VGM track on YouTube, and I'm looking at the names of the different, themes by character name. I'm like, wait a minute, son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, dude, talk about a good game. I'm looking forward to that.
Cannot wait.
It looks so good.
I'm charging my Switch finally.
Right. Reason to blow the dust off.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. But
although I got some birthday money, so I'll probably be picking up the Kingdom Battle because I like the turn-based thing.
Cool. I've heard good things about it. I haven't played it, but I've heard good things about it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's what we're gonna end up doing. Since we've gone a bit long on all of our other topics and things, which is great. Although, Nate, what are you looking for? You haven't said anything yet. What are you looking for this conference? What do you want? What do you want out of E3? What do you want to see?
I don't. I just want something new.
Sure.
I don't care whose it comes from.
Well, what do you want to see from Microsoft?
PlayStation.
Like so?
Okay,
No. I mean, so we're talking about the Xbox conference. You're going to be with us.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting a game changer this early. Like he hasn't. I don't know if he actually has had a chance to do that. Maybe he announces the game changer and it doesn't come out for a couple of years. I'd be okay with that too. But I don't know. I don't see something huge from Phil this year, which is okay.
No, but what do you want to see? I mean, what are you
hoping for? I don't.
What's a pipe dream?
Yeah, what's your pipe dream
from Xbox themselves?
Yep. Phil comes out and says, looks in the camera and says, "This one's for Nate."
This one's for Nate. Call of Duty's getting a campaign this year. Only available on Xbox.
We're calling it Daw of Cootie.
Yeah.
Right. Wouldn't that be something? Treyarch announces the Call of Duty campaign is actually exclusive to the Xbox. There's your marketing deal, and it's only on Game Pass.
The internet blows up.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be the. I would sit back and there would be no commentary the rest of the show. I would just switch it. You know what I would do? I would bring up somewhere on the screen. I would bring up Twitter and just let the Twitter feed just roll.
That would be worth price of admission.
So, all right. So here's what we're gonna do. Since not only are we getting a little long on time, but we've lost 2 people. We'll stow the game of the week in backlog games this week and move on to what everybody actually has come to the podcast for anyway, which is Juan's Retro Rec. But I would like to say that Juan and I would have shared this week's game because out of nowhere, I want to show a little bit of footage really, really quick, and we won't dwell on it too long. But this game came out of nowhere. It's in Game Pass, and I cannot wait to get online and play this. But Laser League. Holy cow!
Big fan.
It's so cool. It's like Tron, but different. But like Tron.
Yeah, I mean, if you took like Tron, made it like an arena combat thing, and kind of threw in some Rocket League. It's really, I find it really addicting. I just picked it up because I thought, well, what the hell? It's on Game Pass. It's new. I got into it and I couldn't put it down, and I play it almost daily. It's something you can pick up on the quick, play a couple rounds, and get out if you need, or you could start at 11 p.m. and then it's 3 in the morning and you're wondering what the hell happened.
Yeah.
But it's
okay. So I've heard this game is awesome from just about everyone. I have downloaded it as of today. In a minute, sell me on this.
Okay, I got this. So it's super easy to get into, but it has a real depth of like a skill ceiling or a depth of skill development to it. Mm-hmm. It has, I think, a really great aesthetic. I love the look, and the OST and the sound design is all really solid and fits really well with it. The character classes all have great unique abilities, and so you can find something that fits you and make that your thing, but you get the opportunity to change up between rounds too. So that team dynamic, and I often pick what I pick based on whatever the random person I'm playing with has picked, because I don't want to be the same thing. I want to be able to play off of his abilities. and there's just a real depth of tactics to it that's surprising. It's almost like chess in some ways.
Yes.
And it's so intense. It gets to be a lot to keep track of, and that's kind of awesome.
And what you're seeing here is 2-on-2, but online you can also play 3-on-3. So what you're seeing is you have to take control of a specific board of moving lasers. And your characters, as Juan was saying, has their own abilities. Like, that guy has a blade he can slice you up with. My character has the ability to... So what you do is you change these to the colors you want so that you can knock out the other player, kind of like Tron. That's where, like, Tron life cycles. But I have the ability to actually turn them to my color. That's one of my abilities. There's so much depth to what you can do and how you play, and it's an ultimate team game. It's just nuts.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you have sold me. So my next question is, when are you guys playing with me?
Just hit me up. Find me on live, and I will jump into matches with you. But yeah, no, the class abilities are great. I'm just a huge fan of it. It came base. I was shocked. It's a real gem on Game Pass. It's one of the best things on Game Pass right now, I think.
I can't disagree with that. I mean, there's just it's one of these that it's simplistic.
I've yelled. I've cursed.
It is. It's simplistic, but you need to master it.
One very of the things easy to pick up, very hard to master.
Oh yeah.
No, not in gameplay. There's so much strategy involved.
Nice.
This is and it's team. You can't just go and be a solo guy. So you get knocked out, your teammate can come and revive you. At the same time, you get your, if you have two people that have two different class, every class has a purpose. One guy can slice you with your blade.
Nipple
but
hair.
You can.
When you may need to block somebody.
Yeah. Well. Okay. To counter that, one guy can have a shield. One guy can turn these things different. To their color. Another person can kind of snipe you from afar. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, one of the tactics and one of the things that's a clever mechanic is that the playfield is the whole screen, and so you're never like facing the wrong way or whatever. Like in Rocket League, I'm not great at Rocket League. I'm like, the ball's over there and I gotta turn out. It's all right there. But with the edge of the pitch, as they call it, is a warp, and you wall wrap from one side to the other, and it's a key tactic for when the lasers get crazy, because the longer the matches go, the longer the walls get, and so you get these, you can get these situations where the map is just completely full of these lasers, and if you're not dominating, because you can of course pass through your own, no problem,
but not the enemy laser.
Correct.
Right.
That's
so
the whole
how you
point.
dominate the play space, But like, I don't know how many times I've caught, because at the start of the match, especially with newer players, they want to run at each other. I don't know how many times I've gotten people with a quick double by wall wrapping right off the bat, just going the other way, coming through on their side, grabbing the walls on their end.
Nice.
Before they, it's really great. I can't praise this game too much right now. If you're gonna buy it, it's only $15, and it's on the Game Pass. You got to give it a go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in Game Pass. It's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just, there's so much to it.
Sound design, the music, it's just great. If I had a criticism, it's that sometimes the classes, especially if you're running the same class as your buddy, can be a little difficult to tell apart in the overload of information when the stages get long.
Sure, and top down
up.
and all that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's my biggest criticism with it. But yeah, no, it's fantastic. Also, I'm fairly positive, and this isn't gospel, but I'm pretty sure that the developers rotate out the designs on these pitches. Like the laser combinations that you're seeing are not they're quasi fixed, but I think they rotate in and out on a weekly basis. So there's There's several per arena, and then I've been playing since. Well, what did it hit? 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah.
And I'm still seeing new maps when I get in. I'm still seeing laser combinations that I'm learning as I play, and so that's pretty good. I mean, it keeps it fresh.
Nice.
And it is a rock. I mean, it's not the biggest 3D looker in the world, but talk about rock solid 60 frames per second. It is unbelievably smooth, which it needs to be.
Of course. I mean, give
super
it
responsive.
So
sweet.
yeah.
All right.
Nice. So thanks, Laser League. I just wanted to bring that up because it was the other game I played this week, other than God of War. So okay, give me a second because I didn't actually. I have failed again. So it's just been one of those. It has been. It's been one of those weeks for me. This cold, I've had it since Wednesday, and it has just dropped my. Like I didn't. There were, I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and possibly Thursday. I don't think I played anything because I just was so out of it. I wasn't sure. I wasn't even sure about tonight, to be quite honest. But knowing we didn't go last week, we needed to go this week. So, but you can still kind of hear it in my voice. Okay. So, the moment we've been all waiting for, including me. Where are we here? Okay. Come on. Oh, that's right. I still haven't redone it yet, so it still outruns music. Sue me.
That's cool, though.
Sue me.
One could do worse.
No, this is true. So I want to welcome Castaway Carly T into our chat room, spicing things up a little bit. Welcome.
Yes, indeed. Welcome, Carly.
Hey, you know what? If you're enjoying the show and you like video games, brother licks his cat, I don't care.
Makes me think of that TV ad for that product, like a brush thing. Have you seen that?
Brush. Which one?
Like the one that's like, it's like an oral device. You put it on your tongue so you can like brush your cat. It's like a brush you put on your tongue so you can groom your cat.
Oh,
like
no.
They would groom. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I don't own one. Just something that I saw, but.
Right. So you've heard.
Right. My friend.
All right. When you are ready, sir.
Yep, all set. So today we're going back to 1990 for one of my favorite Nintendo Entertainment cartridges, Nintendo Entertainment System cartridges even, courtesy of Tecmo. And even right down to the opening sequence here, I'm a big fan of the aesthetic of this game, the visual design and sound, and the cinematic nature of it was really impressive for its day. So it had to be one of the recommendations. It was developed and published by Tecmo, and they were founded in 1967 as a supplier of cleaning equipment, believe it or not. And they shifted to coin-operated amusement equipment in 1969. They sold and operated that coin-operated amusement equipment until the early 80s when they shifted into gaming. Their first arcade game hit the States in 1981. It was Pleiades. It was, I believe it was licensed by Centauri. The first internally developed home game they ever made was Bomb Jack on the Famicom. By the late 80s, they were fully involved in console game development, and they became known for Star Force, Tecmo Bowl, Rygar, Later eras had, the Dead or Alive franchise, Ninja Gaiden, of course, obviously here on the NES and later. Fatal Frame, Monster Rancher on the PlayStation as well. In 2009, they merged with Koei to form Tecmo Koei Holdings, and they operated as a subsidiary of that until they were actually disbanded in 2010. That actually followed the departure of Team Ninja head Itagaki and a lawsuit seeking unpaid bonuses and emotional damages that hit him pretty hard. Despite having been dissolved twice as a legal entity, the brand is still used today on Koei Tecmo Games products. You still see the same branding. The gameplay is a single-player platformer action game, and it follows 1 year after the first game and detail Ryu Hayabusa's conflict with Ashtar, the Emperor of Darkness, who plans to use the Sword of Chaos, which you kind of spoke about in the intro there, to open a portal and bring the armies of chaos over to this world to take it over. The game consists of a series of platforming levels called acts, and Ryu progresses through the acts even, using his ability to jump and latch onto walls and ladders. One big upgrade from the first game to this one was the ability to climb a wall. In the original NES cart, you had to jump from one surface to the other. There was no climbing once you had latched the wall. Also, Ryu uses his ninja art abilities to attack enemies or protect himself from their attacks. As you'll notice, one of the challenging aspects of this game is that it has what I like to refer to as the old school scroll spawning, where if you backtrack, when you come back to the area, the enemy that spawns at that point will respawn again endlessly. And so it's one of those kind of old school things. You don't really see that anymore. It was kind of common in the Mega Man series as well, but it can be a little frustrating to modern gamers. The ninja arts that he uses to proceed through the enemies include Shuriken, the windmill Shuriken, which acts like a boomerang until it's caught. The art of the fire wheel is that vertical fire wheel that he had before. It's like a ring of fire he tosses at an upward angle. The fire Dragon Balls, which were new to this version of the game, are fired at a downward diagonal angle. And of course the invincible fire wheel, which summons a fire wheel that circles around Ryu and allows him a limited invincibility period. Here we're looking at one of the cinematic sequences that punctuate each act, each platforming section, and they were really kind of great for their day. They were really pretty advanced compared to what else was on offer at the time. I became a huge fan of Ryu to the point where, like, I don't know what, I was single digits age, but that was one of my Halloween costumes, of course, is going as Ryu with my plastic dragon sword. Another big addition in this game to the arts that he uses is the ability to have shadow ninjas follow him. It's a pickup like the others, and when you do that, you have an orange shadowy, and unfortunately my Elgato operates at a frequency that you don't see both at the same time because of how the system flickered between them to show them, but basically they would follow in the exact footsteps, including the jumps and such, and they only moved when Ryu moved, so you could actually position them in midair, and if you stop moving, they could actually attack from that spot. So you can use that sometimes to get some better angles on bosses, or even just throw additional firepower out with the arts, using the same, consuming the same amount of ninja power, but getting 3 shots or 3 windmill stars or whatever. So it's a very valuable, one of the key elements in the game. There's a lives counter, and of course that's depleted if you run out of health, or if you fall off the screen, like into a pit, or if you run out of time. Items that you can discover along the way include bottles that increase your score, ninja arts that we talked about before, medicine vials for healing, ninja power refills, which is basically like your ammo for your ninja arts, and scrolls, which are key items to find as they increase your maximum ninja power, which comes in pretty handy later for some of the bosses. Now, I kind of just dealt with them summarily with the windmill star there, but we've seen a real brief flash of one of the most frustrating enemies in video gaming, the hawk or the eagle in this game. They're just amazing because they're programmed to destroy. They're just evil beyond belief because they always come from an off angle, but they always come dead at you, and they almost invariably come to where they can hit you. There's a really big hit reaction in this game, and it's a good way to be falling down a pit with absolutely no input that you could possibly have. Of course, I managed to fall into pits without any interference, but that's how this game goes. Each act is punctuated with a boss fight. We saw that first one. It's pretty simple. Just jump over his run and hit him. Pretty weak, but we gotta get people in the door. Upcoming is a Spider Baron, a little tougher, and it just gets progressively tougher. And the game is no joke, pretty tough. It's up there with your TMNT or your Battletoads, in my opinion, as far as how difficult it is. I'm a huge fan of the soundtrack. This music and the boss music and the music at the start of the stage, the snowy wind, which actually was a new thing for this version of the game too. That wasn't in the wind gusts that you have to run against. Wasn't something that happened in the first game. Also, there's another area with complete darkness that's lit by lightning pulses, which was something that was another new thing. It was generally received very well critically. EGM praised the game for taking the series a step further with an explosive story loaded with twists, and that's a quote. Nintendo Power gave it 4 stars for its great cinema scenes and challenge. It was nominated for Nintendo Power Awards for Best Theme and Fun, Best Play Control, Best Hero, Best Bad Guy, and Best Overall, but it actually didn't win any of those categories. Games Radar listed it as the 20th best NES game of all time. EGM in 1990 called it one of the best NES games ever and praised its difficulty as well. This game actually has one of the sound tests. It's like a cheat code, and if you ever do score a copy of this for your NES, I recommend getting in there and checking it out. It just has some really great music. The evil bad guy Ashtar, his theme is fantastic. It's just a really great game. At the time of writing my little notes here, there were about 30 listings on eBay, mostly in the mid-teens. I got mine at a secondhand shop, probably $12. And if you're looking for some old school platforming challenge with that cool ninja flavor, you can't really do better on NES than this.
Excellent. As always.
Sweet, yeah.
I always love the attention to detail and the care you put into these, dude. I really do.
That's appreciated. It takes just a little time. I mean, it's not anything like what you do, but
yeah, but I mean, it is though the same kind of thing, though. It's cool. I like it. Digging in like this, things that maybe people have forgotten, or the different details, like how Koei Tecmo started and things like that. It's always appreciated.
I appreciate the appreciation. Even I just really love the both games are great, but I think the Ninja Gaiden 2 was really the high mark of the NES. There was a third game, the Ancient Ship of Doom, but I think the story kind of devolved. I think the story of the first 2 games really is where it was at, and this was the culmination. Because for anyone who doesn't know, the story kind of ties back into the first one.
Well, and this was one of those too. It was like TMNT, where you throw it in and you're expecting the arcade Ninja Gaiden,
right?
And it's not.
It's true.
So, didn't they did bring Ninja Gaiden Arcade to the NES though, didn't they?
I'm not sure that it ever hit the NES. I know that on the Ninja Gaiden Black you can unlock. Wait, wasn't it Black?
I was gonna say because I'm gonna go play that
Black,
right now.
On Black, I think it was. I may be just old and having memory problems, but on Ninja Gaiden Black on the Xbox, there was an unlockable older game, and I can't remember whether it was the NES game of the original or the arcade. Okay. But I know it was different because I know that like Ninja Gaiden on the OGX had one of them, and Black had the other. So I'm not sure. I don't remember which the order on that was.
All right, might have to look that up. So yeah, I was just looking. Ninja Gaiden, the arcade version, came out mostly on computer stuff. Lynx, the Atari Lynx, which was not a computer, but the Amiga, Commodore 64, Atari ST, Spectrum, CPC, DOS, and such. So you're right. I don't know why I thought they did that like they, because they did it with TMNT. I thought they did it with Ninja Gaiden 2, but apparently not. So
no, but yeah, if you own an NES, you gotta have it. In my opinion, that's a not miss NES game. Must have.
That, a RetroPie.
You have it on a RetroPie, you said?
Yep, Coop does.
Awesome.
Cool. All right,
Check
gents. So we sort of survived tonight. we lost Peter. We lost Nick.
It's kind of fitting on a State of Decay 2 note.
Yes.
So you're saying we really are the Last of Us?
Right, exactly.
It hasn't exactly been days gone, but this podcast
Xbox
is in a state of decay.
Oh, Sam!
On a roll.
Throwing them at 11:30 at night.
I had to.
Damn.
I just hope it's not permadeath for Nick or Nate, Nick or Peter.
Right.
I hope not either.
They suffered a Gear of War. All right.
No,
mine aren't as good as yours.
That was way too forced.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm sorry. Usually I could throw them out there, but this cold has just blocked all ability for me to.
You've lost your Halo.
Yeah. No, that wasn't good either. Your first set was fine.
Fantastic.
All right. So, I want to thank Nick, even though I guess somebody shot a firecracker into his power and knocked him out for the night. And hopefully Peter feels better. And but Sam, thanks for joining us tonight, man. Because this is your first
it was fantastic.
Time. This is your first time on the show.
It was, and
open door, by the way.
I certainly hope it's not going to be the last.
Oh,
guys.
it won't.
I really do.
Oh gosh, no.
Because I mean, it may be a bit of a slow pace. We may go over on topics, but it's great talk. It was fantastic.
Oh man, if you saw the Nick Macon episode, I didn't think we could get 90 minutes of talking about Raging Justice, and we did. So, trust me. However, it is 11:30. I have sworn to my compadres we will never go 3 hours again. So I cannot. See, Juan is. Yes, I've made that promise to them. I saved the 3-hour podcast for Nick. But yeah, man, this was great having you on, and we love the fact that we are part of the Tick family. So
absolutely.
You are our brethren now, and so we're looking forward to your reporting on E3 and give everybody the quick tickgnnetwork.com. What's the site?
Okay, so it was ticgn.com. However, I can officially announce, I think Cal actually announced it on Twitter yesterday, but okay, who's counting? We are in the middle of overhauling our website. We're actually changing the domain name as well. And the new site you're going to be able to find us at is tickgamesnetwork.com. We're going to be a full-on... It's a huge overhaul. That's the easiest way I can say it. You're going to love it. We've done a lot of cool stuff. Cal has been busting his butt getting all the categories organized, color themes, revamping. It's beyond a facelift. We are remaking the site from the ground up. It's going to be fantastic. And I'm not sure if we're going live tomorrow. It might be a little bit later in the week, but we're almost ready to get back rolling again. So please be excited. Please be excited for our return.
Please be excited.
Please be excited.
So, well, it's almost there. There's a coming soon splash screen if you put in ticksgamesnetwork.com.
Oh, really? He got that?
Yes, he's got
soon. TM.
Yeah, and
awesome. It
looks like Lara Croft. Looks like a Shadow of the Tomb Raider image. So, congratulations on that, and of course, being a Tick affiliate. We're going to be providing content as well. So, and I know you and I were talking about some things for that. So,
and Juan and I, we're going to have some conversations as well. So, not anytime soon. I'm just going to let you guys know. I got to get through E3, and then I'm probably going to come home and pass out after I do that. But
Yeah.
we will be having conversations very soon.
Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome. All right, Juan, Nate. Good show as always. Huh?
Another day.
Yeah, another night.
Said another show, another dollar.
Another
And
dollar.
it was nice meeting everybody.
You should talk to Sam because you're like the news curator guru. You've got he tweets me or he texts me news like all week long.
The
So
movie we didn't really talk about a movie this week because not really.
we didn't.
But Solo is coming out, so next week.
And Deadpool 2 is out.
That was hilarious, by the way. Go see it if you can.
As good as the first?
I think it's better than the first.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can't wait to see your reaction to some of the stuff.
Because
So
Michelle
yeah,
and
once again, if
Michelle and I
anybody
really
saw
liked the first one.
talk
So
about it in the Discord channel. We now have a movie and TV Discord chat. So
all right, very cool. All right, any last words before we roll out?
isn't that a rap song? Roll out.
You're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I no.
Head 'em up, roll hard.
There you go.
Hey, see.
All right. Well, everybody have a great week. We will see you next Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks to the great guys in our chat room that hung out with us. And see you next week. Play on, gamers.
Heck yeah.
He's out.
Bye.
Oh, I really have to update this.